everybody, welcome on into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. If this is your first time joining me, we do breaking news here. We bring you live events happening all across the country. We even bring you some updates on stories that are happening both locally, nationally, and even sometimes we'll dip into the international waters to see what's going on across the world. But I also want to show you guys just a couple of things that we're keeping our tabs on, things that you'll be able to hear more about during these next 3 hours. So you've got a beautiful shot of the Philadelphia city skyline. That's because tonight the Perseid meteor shower will reach its peak. This will be between tonight and tomorrow night, and it coincides with the new moon. So while it'll be especially dark in our area, we may be able to see those meteors just fly across the sky, maybe even 100 of them per hour. We'll be checking in with our meteorologist as well as a space expert who can talk to us a little bit more about what this phenomenon is all about. You're also taking a live look at City Hall because as we speak, there should be a vigil happening for any of the victims, people who know family, friends, and whatnot out in Colombia. As we know, just a couple of days ago, a deadly earthquake hit their area and rocked the community. We're still trying to find people. There are search and rescue efforts underway as we speak. There are also plenty of efforts to try and bring resources to the people most affected by this. And it just so happens that we here in Philadelphia have gotten quite a few ties to that country. So we'll be touching base with someone who's helping out on the local level of what we can do for the people in Colombia. You're also taking a live look at the White House because we heard earlier today Caroline Leavitt may be putting her hat up for Secretary of the Press Secretary. So we're hearing that it's an interesting situation going on where Caroline says that because she was pregnant and she had her baby, that she may be taking some time away from the White House. They say that she is going to resign by the end of the month. So we're keeping our eyes on that situation as well. We'll be able to bring you more details on why she says it's about that time that she takes a seat. Keep in mind, she's the youngest press secretary that we have ever had in the White House. And last but not least, we're getting you updated on a water main break that we heard about in a Philadelphia neighborhood. So take a second, let's go over the details that we heard about that because it just started around 5:15-ish. Skyfox flew over this water main break. We had plenty of video to show you all of what the situation looks like. As you can see, completely roped off. We're talking about the area of Tacony on Tulip Street, Princeton Avenue. This may be some video of the Chew Avenue investigation. I'm not quite sure. But in this water main break situation, we heard that water was flooding the streets. Several cars were stuck in that mess. We have a crew that's been down on the scene trying to get you guys more information about what's happening there and when that water could be turned off, when water service could be restored to the area. We'll try to bring you updates on that as this hour continues. But now that Chew Avenue investigation, we were looking at some video of that as well. I just want to go over the nuts and bolts of what happened there because earlier today we had a press conference. So one of our reporters, Shawnette Wilson, has been trying to get to the bottom of the situation, and honestly, every detail that comes out of this case just sounds like something out of a bizarre movie. So Shawnette, if you're with us live, like, what have you been learning? What are you combing through? What details do you have to share with us?
This is just an incredible investigation here, Judea, and it is massive. We've been following this since June, this past June, and now today we've learned that digital evidence has led to new developments in this investigation into 44-year-old Eugene Horsch and his North Philly home, which is at 417 Chew Avenue, as you mentioned. During a press conference today, investigators said that they found evidence, digital evidence, that leads them to believe that there are two women who are no longer alive. Those women had been missing for quite some time. The catch here, though, is that investigators say they don't have a body. So again, this is based on digital evidence, whether that's videos, photographs. They weren't trying to be too detailed or graphic about this because this is an ongoing investigation, but it's what they saw that has led them to believe that these two women are no longer alive. Again, they do not have bodies yet, but they have identified the women and they have contacted their families. I'm not sure, Judea, do we have a picture of one of the victims?
No, it sounds like we don't, Shawnette.
Okay. Okay. So I just wanted to be clear, so I could just alter the information that we have. So I'm going to read from my phone here a bit, Judea, just so I can make sure that I have the names and the ages correct. So the two women that police have identified as being deceased are 27-year-old Maribel Fresses. They say that she was last seen in 2018. Also, the other woman they've identified as Gabriela Armorando. She's 22 years old, missing since 2012. Now, investigators stress that if the videos are accurate and they have not been altered, the medical examiner believes that they are deceased. But again, without a body or body parts, the ME cannot conclusively declare them as dead. That is through a death certificate, or they cannot determine a cause of death. So again, just to recap, this is an investigation that has been going on since June. We know that since this investigation started, police had been able to secure about 100 search warrants and executed them on Horsch's property. And so again, that's when that investigation began in June, and they have found all sorts of things. We know, just going back to June, they talked about finding guns, gun parts, a marijuana grow lab, and fake FBI ID badge, and also one from the DEA with Horsch's picture on them. So again, obviously fake there. And that is what they found during the sweep of the home. They also found several urns, which they believe, are filled with the remains of bodies there. So the press conference today, we do have a little bit of sound from that, where investigators talked about more about these identities that they were made on these women and which bodies were not found. Let's listen in.
This is new territory for the homicide unit in Philadelphia. Usually when we have a homicide investigation, we have a body, we have body parts. This time we do not. This is from the medical examiner. Based on the video and photo evidence, if the images in the video are real and not altered in any way, then based on their review, the ME would believe the individuals depicted in the images are deceased. However, without having an actual body or body parts to physically examine, the ME cannot conclusively declare them deceased.
All right, so another part of that press conference, investigators were asking for information from the public, from anyone who may have ever been to that home. If you know Horsch, if you've been to that 417 Chew Avenue location, they are asking you to call them as they continue to try to piece together exactly what happened in that home. Right now, we do know that Horsch, according to court documents, has a court appearance in September. He is in federal custody right now. So that's kind of what we know right now, Judea, but just a horror story of details of things that we know investigators say, that they found in that home. And, we talked about this earlier, for these families of these two, missing women, could you consider this closure or not? These women have been reported missing, again, one since 2012, one since 2018. And now the family members know that police believe that they are deceased. But again, they don't have a body, which means that the family members cannot lay their loved ones to rest. So this is very hard, as you can imagine. We can only imagine, for the family members who received this news today. But the investigation continues. There's just so much to be uncovered here. We know that since June, again, investigators have, gone through pipes in the home. They've done some excavation work on the property there. They said that they found, containers of oily substances in the basement. So there is just a lot that has happened in this house. And this all began with a traffic stop, if I'm remembering correctly, in June, when Horsch, they say, was pulled over in a BMW. There was another woman in a car with him. They found a gun, they found, drugs in that car. And that is kind of what jump-started this investigation, which is far from over right now. They have so much evidence to continue processing and going over, Judea.
Absolutely. And Shawnette, too, one thing that led the officers to try to dig a little deeper, during that traffic stop, which is so crazy that this is how it all started, they found fake IDs that happened to match the identification of the missing women that we're talking about here. So that's kind of what was kind of a dog whistle for them to keep searching deeper. And now all of a sudden we've got these images. And so I just want to let you know, later on in the evening, we're going to try to bring a former forensic specialist on the live stream with me to try to, dig a little deeper into that. When you have evidence in the case, but you don't have a body. As a detective, where do you go next? So that's gonna be my question, one of the questions that I ask him.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that they did also mention, without getting, too graphic because they didn't want to share a lot either. But one thing that they did say in the press conference and in a release is that in terms of the two women who they've identified but don't have bodies, they have these videos and other digital evidence that show them there alive, and then other digital evidence that show them not alive. So those are photographs of them. It's horrific. You just can't imagine. And again, we want to stress that investigators are looking for anyone who has ever been into the home to reach out to them. There's just so much to uncover here, and as much work as they're doing, they want to hear from people who may have been, in contact with or been in the presence of this home. Anything that people may have seen, you never know, may help them.
Yeah, if I know anything about any of these kind of cases, it's that it's always going to be the person who didn't think they had anything of substance that just shares a random detail with the police, and sometimes that can be the big break in a case. So you never know. Again, if you guys ever had contact with that home, ever had contact with Horsch, know anything about these women, please reach out to the police department. They're trying their best to put an end to their investigation and maybe even take this to court. Shawnette, I appreciate you so much for bringing us what you could. You guys out there streaming with us, we're going to keep you guys updated on everything we know about this investigation. Again, a house of horror of sorts that we're trying to learn more about. And in the meantime, I also want to get you caught up on your weather forecast. Today ended up being a really interesting day, not just because of the heat, the humidity, but we had some celestial spectacles and another one still coming up a little later on. I want to bring things over to our Scott Williams, our meteorologist of the hour. Scott, what you got for us?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, how there was a lot going on celestially. And of course, many people had ideal viewing conditions to see the partial solar eclipse for our area. It kind of looks like Pac-Man, if you will. But we had the 7% obscurity of the sun earlier this afternoon between 1 and about 2 o'clock across the area. So, of course, things panned out for us, but the path of totality, that was around places like Spain. We'll talk a little bit, of course, about all of that coming up, but the temperatures for today maxed out at 90 degrees. So, yeah, that's above average for this time of year. 90, Philadelphia, Wilmington temperatures were in the upper 80s. It was 86 in Reading, 87 degrees at the airport for Atlantic City. Now, those temperatures over the past several days, 90 degrees or better. So yes, just coming off of that sixth heat wave yesterday at 88 degrees, but temperatures certainly spiked again to 90 degrees. Now take a look at this image here. This comes today, this afternoon from Parlin, New Jersey. That is in Middlesex County. This is from our actual intern, Andrew Zollinger, and you can really see just how that partial solar eclipse played out across the area. Now, if you missed that, you have another opportunity at some celestial things. That's for tonight. We're talking about the Perseid meteor showers. This is one of the best meteor showers of the year, and you don't need any special equipment to view it. Now, this afternoon for that partial solar eclipse, you needed those special glasses, but for this, we're talking about the best time to view it from about midnight until dawn. And we're looking at the frequency of meteors, 50 to 100. Definitely lesser amounts, especially as you're going to be in the urbanized areas. So you really want to get away from those bright city lights. We're talking about the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, the Wharton State Forest, maybe even as you get toward Trap Pond State Park in Delaware. So the more rural you can get, the darker you can get, you will have a tendency to see more meteors per hour. Now, the thing that could complicate this forecast for tonight will be cloud cover, and also there could be some potential thunderstorms overnight tonight and early for your Thursday morning. Not a whole lot showing up right now in Ultimate Doppler, but moving toward the Poconos, portions of the Lehigh Valley. Right now, Northampton looking at a shower kind of moving through the eastern Pennsylvania area. So overnight tonight, we actually have a marginal risk for some isolated severe thunderstorms. On a scale of 1 to 5, it's a 1, and you can see that is indicated from Philadelphia to the north and the west. So hour by hour this evening, if you're stepping outdoors, it's warm, it's still kind of muggy. Those temperatures, mid 80s right now, low 80s by 9 o'clock. By 11 o'clock, we fall into the upper 70s, but you can see introducing that thunderstorm threat, especially late tonight into the pre-dawn hours of your Thursday. So just kind of keep that in mind. We'll go hour by hour, kind of showing you the cloud cover could be around the area, as well as some of those isolated thunderstorms overnight tonight. Everyone's not going to see them, but that's the disturbance that's moving through overnight tonight and first thing for your Thursday across the area. Now, let's talk a little bit about, of course, the Field of Dreams. That game taking place tomorrow in Iowa, and showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast for most of the state as we go hour by hour. Some heavier rainfall in the morning, early afternoon time frame, but you can see as we get toward first pitch time, we still have some clouds, cooler temperatures, and that threat for some showers there. So we're going to be monitoring that forecast as we progress throughout your Thursday. But right now it's looking like first pitch temperatures will be in the low 70s, and there's still going to be about a 30-40% chance for a leftover shower. But the higher chance is during the morning into the early afternoon time frame there in Iowa. Here at home for tomorrow, those temperatures mid to upper 80s, north and west, upper 80s to around 90 degrees for Philadelphia, maxing out with those high temperatures similar to today. It'll be a warm day down the shore as well, with those temperatures getting into the upper 80s with more of a land breeze tomorrow down the shore. Then we have to talk about, yes, the weekend. Sunday into early Monday, there's a threat for some showers moving back into our forecast. So right now, it doesn't look like the entire weekend is going to be dry. Sunday, looking at that disturbance, that front that's going to be moving through, that will give us the threat for some rainfall second half of the weekend. Now, looking at this 7-day forecast, 90 degrees for your Thursday, upper 80s for Friday and Saturday. More of a dry heat, but it's going to be the pick day of the weekend for this Saturday with that lower humidity. And then clouds kind of roll back in Sunday with those possible showers across the area. That will give us some cooler temperatures in the low 80s. And then early next week, we're right around where we should be for this time of year, upper 80s with partly sunny skies, some hazy sunshine as we take a look at that early week forecast. Now, 10-day temperature trend shows those temperatures for most of next week back into the upper 80s. So it doesn't quite look like a heat wave, but it's still summer, it's still warm, and we still have some of those pop-up shower and thunderstorm chances in the forecast as well. So, I mean, a lot is still going on. Did you get a chance to see the partial solar eclipse this afternoon, Judea? Did you find those glasses? If you did?
I did not find any glasses. However, when I came in, I was watching the noon to 2 Philadelphia Live show with Jen, and she did get to show a little bit of it on her screen, so that was exciting. And I didn't realize like just how picture perfect, I would say, it is if you've got one of those like super zoom telescope lenses. Yep. It was amazing.
I didn't get a chance to look at it either. I was driving. I was on my way to work.
Well, maybe we'll get a little luckier with the Perseid meteor shower. Granted, we won't be able to see it like here in the city, but
yeah. The
maybe.
Cloud, I'm a little concerned now about the cloud cover. So,
okay.
yeah, I'm a little concerned about the cloud cover. So, we'll see.
Maybe we'll get lucky and one of our sister stations or someone will have something to show us, or maybe even NASA will provide something. Hopefully, I'll have something to show everybody on the live stream.
Yep.
but that is definitely a crowd favorite tonight. I appreciate you giving us a look at our forecast, and I just want to address some of you guys in our live stream chat. Someone asked if they would be able to see the meteor shower from Taiwan. I mentioned before, we have people watching from a little bit of everywhere, so I do want to let you know it looks like yes. The best time for you in your area would be 8 p.m. your time until dawn tomorrow. So yes, you would be able to see it in Taiwan. And someone also asked on the main line, will you be able to see it? Again, yes, you've just got to look up specific. I don't know exactly where you are located, but the best thing to do is, I'm just gonna be honest, hit Google. Ask them if in your area, what would be the best time for you. Now, we are going to have someone who's kind of an expert in the celestialness come on Philadelphia Live and share a little bit more about what the meteor shower is, what it looks like, and we can go over some of the best times depending on where you guys are watching from. So just let me know. Hit us in our live stream chat. We are on TikTok right now, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube as well. Where you're watching from, I'll start collecting all that information, and then when we have that live interview a little later on, I'll pose the question, maybe even give you guys a quick shout out. All right, you guys, we have more coming up for you. After this commercial break, I want to dive in a little bit deeper. We've been keeping our eye on the earthquake situation in Colombia. We know it was a deadly situation. People here in the U.S. are still trying to get in contact with their family members, their friends, just make sure everybody's all right. And there are quite a few local organizations that are doing everything they can, not just to connect and reconnect people, but also to try and send some aid their way. So we'll be touching base with one of those local organizations who happens to be holding a vigil right now as we speak. We're going to go to a quick commercial break and get you caught up on what's happening here in Philadelphia. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. Again, my name is Judea Murray. Even though we're based here in Pennsylvania, I want to let you know we're still keeping our eyes on the situation in Colombia. A couple of days ago, a deadly earthquake, 7.4 magnitude, hit the area, the region. Multiple people killed during this incident. They're still searching and trying to rescue as many people as possible. Now, we've got plenty of organizations on the local level right here in Philadelphia doing everything they can to provide aid, to try to reconnect connect families here in the U.S. to their loved ones out there in Colombia. And one of those organizations is Acción Colombia. Today, they're hosting a vigil at City Hall, and we've got a board member joining us live from that scene. So you guys meet Joanna Plazas. Thank you so much for making some time for us here on Philadelphia Live. I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you so much for the opportunity.
No problem. So this vigil got underway around 6 o'clock. What exactly are you guys doing out there?
So we are hosting a vigil to be able to create community within just the Philadelphia area. So we are inviting our Colombian community as well as our neighbors to be able to be here to have a space to grieve for those that we have lost, as well as have a space to be able to keep hope for those that are still being searched for, as well as hope for what's to come in terms of rebuilding after we get through this tragic time.
Now, I heard that there are a couple of different things that you guys are going to be doing. So tonight it's the vigil. This weekend you've got some events planned as well. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah. So this weekend, there's also going to be opportunities to be able to donate if you'd like to support us. So there's going to be 2 locations, both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at Amigos Bakery in the Northeast area, there's going to be a collection from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. You'll be able to bring any supplies in terms of emergency supplies, non-perishable foods, hygiene products, things of that nature. And we're going to be looking for volunteers for you to be able to help us with getting that stuff prepared. There will also be an opportunity, in case those hours don't work for you, to be able to do the same thing at the Lighthouse across the street from St. Chris Hospital in the Northeast area with Oblea Fusion. And they're going to be operating from 3 to 8 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday, doing the same thing, making collections. We also have information for 2 organizations that we are working with in the affected areas. And those organizations are, Manos Visibles, which is located in the Chocó area. That is the epicenter of where this earthquake took place, and it is the most impacted. It's also the area with the least amount of signal at this point. It is on our Pacific coast, And so right now that organization is able to get supplies and resources to them. The other organization is Gift to Colombia. They're located in our Cafetero region, which is another area that was heavily impacted by this earthquake. And so they're also being able to provide resources on the ground right away. So if people are able to provide a monetary donation, that is also the information we are providing to people to be able to choose if that's something that they're able to do and willing to do. Otherwise, donations in terms of supplies, as well as just providing support and space for those that are grieving during this difficult time.
You know, I think it's really interesting. A lot of times people are hesitant to give their money when it comes to situations like this. They're not quite sure exactly where to go. But again, you guys, for these events coming up this weekend, are asking for materials. We had your flyer that you put up on social media up for our audience so they got to see. Canned food was included, baby items, hygiene items like diapers, baby wipes, those kinds of things, first aid supplies. Those are the kinds of things we are looking for. And I just want to remind everybody, Acción Colombia, look it up on Facebook. I think you guys also have an Instagram page as well, right, where people can find more information about what you've got going on.
Yes, sorry, it's a little loud out here. Yes, our Instagram page is Philly Acción Colombia. And we also have a Facebook page where people can reach out to us, and we will be happily able to connect with them, provide them any support in either getting information about these programs that we have right now. I'm also happy to share that we are going to be doing ongoing support. So there's going to be more things that are provided as the weeks go by, more organizations that we're hoping to support as we get more information coming in. And so if people reach out to us, we'll be able to provide it directly, but it will also be posted on our socials as well.
Well, now, Joanna, while I have you, I just want to ask, do you mind turning so that we can see? I saw there were flags while we were getting ready to talk to you, but I just want to show people if they still want to get out where exactly you guys are so they know which group to look for. Let's go ahead and take
Can you
that
see it there?
pulse. Yes, yes, we can. We see the beautiful yellow, the blue, as you guys have put up your flag back there. And then again, this is the group that you would be looking for if you want to get out to this vigil. Do you think it'll be going on much longer?
We are wrapping up.
Okay.
So it's not going to be going on too much longer, but there will likely be more events. We are trying to look at ways that we can provide more community support, just to kind of create community and keep building it up.
Yeah, when these events
But
happen.
City Hall was wonderful and they supported us. The crowd's a little smaller than it was earlier, but yeah.
Well, again, you guys got started at 6. We are coming to you late in the 7 o'clock hour, but you guys have been out there loud and proud and strong. Good to hear that City Hall also played ball with you all. But the thing that I just wanted to point people to again is if you're looking for future things, social media would be the best way to, I think, connect with you all. Because, you know, when stuff like this happens, the worst thing is feeling like you're alone or feeling like you can't get in touch with your loved ones and you don't know who to turn to. Well, you've got a whole group of people out here who would love to embrace you right now. Joanna, thank you so much for making some time for us here on Philadelphia Live and showing us what you've got going on here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And it just means so much to be able to have people willing to lift up this tragedy and just give it some light, because that just helps us be able to get some more support. So thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. All right, you guys, that's a look at what's happening on the local level here in Philadelphia when we are trying our best to help out our friends and family and even strangers, perfect strangers out in Colombia. I hear there are some other things happening as we speak across the United States. So we're going to take a quick trip down to Florida with Fox News' Amy Gallo. Amy has been keeping us updated on the efforts out there to also bring people together, help with resources. Amy, what are you reporting on today?
Yeah, I'm at the Global Empowerment Mission headquarters in Doral, which is in South Florida. Huge population of Colombians here who came together today to start packing up boxes of supplies that have been donated to bring over to Colombia. But that's not all they're up to over here. They already have teams on the ground in Colombia that are doing assessment missions and trying to figure out what's needed most. As crews continue to search through the rubble for survivors, thousands in Colombia now find themselves homeless.
There's buildings that are still standing, but they have structural damage and they're going to have to be demolished. So there's thousands of people homeless in every single one of these cities, living in tents in local parks, living in, tent shelters in the stadiums.
Spencer Taylor is with the South Florida-based nonprofit Global Empowerment Mission. They're joining forces with local volunteers in Colombia to get people what they need.
These are our family necessity kits that we've packed locally here. So that's why we're asking for, right now, cash donations are the most effective way to help, because we can procure aid here much quicker and cheaper than purchasing aid in Miami, shipping it here.
Unlike the aftermath of recent earthquakes in Venezuela, many grocery stores in Colombia are still open, providing a cheaper and quicker way to get aid.
The local government response is quite strong here, so we're just focused on how can we fill those gaps.
On Wednesday, GEM plans to give 500 kits to people living in shelters in Pereira. Next on the list, Cali and Choco.
I plan on driving through all the affected areas. That's like my recon tour, some by car, some by helicopter. You fly over, understand, the severity of the situation.
So volunteers and donors here in South Florida know exactly what to do to help. GEM plans for their first flight full of supplies to leave Miami by Friday, and they are still accepting donations, a whole number of items, but there are some that are most important, like tents and sleeping supplies. All of that list of items is posted on their website. That's globalempowermentmission.org. Judea?
Amy, again, it's really great to see what's going on across the country. We just showed people how we're handling things in Philly. Now we've got to look at what's going on in Florida. We've got people who watch us from a little bit of everywhere, so this just helps people figure out if they want to help out, where they can jump on in. I appreciate you sharing what's going on out there just so we can all stay up to date on what's happening. Amy, I'm going to let you go so you can continue reporting on the news of the day. But for our audience who's still live streaming with us, I want to let you know we are going to turn our attention back to what's happening locally. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I hear that there's this meeting undergoing right now in the Upper Marion Township. They're talking about data centers and where they could potentially put them. There are 2 proposed sites that are being discussed as we speak. So when we come back from this break, we'll try to dip in and listen on into where they might be in terms of the agenda. This should be interesting. A lot of people have a lot of things to say when it comes to data centers, both on the positive side and the negative side. So we'll check in with where that meeting is at when we come back. All right, guys, welcome back on Into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. I bring you breaking news, live events that are happening all across the country. And right now we're going to dive into some things that are happening locally here in Pennsylvania. So I heard that in Upper Marion Township, there is a meeting happening right now as we speak. They're talking about the potential of bringing a data center to their area and where exactly they should put it. So one of the areas being discussed is 411 Swedenland Avenue, and then we've got 600 River Road. So they're in this meeting. I want to let us listen in to see where exactly they're at in the agenda. We'll check it out. Take us a listen.
To fighting this giant power plant for sport. And I just want to be on record here tonight as saying this is absolutely not my idea of fun. I'd rather be almost anywhere else than right here. Although, so I do have a solution for him if he wants to lessen this information. If he could start by providing the same information to the Upper Marion residents and to the Upper Marion Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners that he's been providing to PJM and PICO and Ben Kirshner in the governor's office. So I've now attended 4, this is 4, excruciatingly long, this one's better, thank you, to Mr. O'Neill. And we've heard a lot of words from him, but somehow I still feel very misinformed. You know, when we were at that very first meeting that we had at his Renaissance Park building, I asked only one question, and that was about the amount of energy he plans to generate. He didn't answer that question, and though this should be required information for any application like this, he has still not publicly answered that question. But however, in our right to know documents, we have Mr. O'Neill's email to the CEO of PJM, the largest regional transmission in America, and coincidentally, that email was written exactly a year ago from the time we first met him. And he's telling the CEO of PGM that he is working with PECO to get 1 gigawatt of power. So he knew his power needs a year ago, but we are still waiting for him to share that with us publicly. So let's just try this one more time, and these are the questions that we still need to know. What is the final, not just phase 1, but the final peak electrical demand? Number 2, how many individual gas turbines will be installed on site? And will they run as primary power or as a temporary bridge? How many backup diesel generators will be required to support the natural gas turbines? Number 4, is the existing local gas distribution infrastructure enough, or is he going to have to build a new high-pressure lateral pipeline compressor station in our neighborhood too? And how many testing days per year is he going to need for those diesel generators? And number 6, I'll leave the question as to why Mr. O'Neill would attempt to get Trump's EPA, a new story just broke today, I don't know whether you guys saw it, that he is asking Trump's EPA to be a bit more flexible on the annual cap of the 25 tons for emissions of volatile organic compounds and airborne chemicals with, which increase the risk of asthma, cancer, cardiovascular disease, and all other kinds of illnesses. But I will, wait for another time to ask those questions. Thank you, and thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments.
All right, so actually, as you can see, it looks like each person who comes up has about 3 minutes to share their thoughts. And as I mentioned, they're going over these 2 proposed data center sites. Now, we all know, I would say, what some people complain about when it comes to a data center coming to their area, but I do also want to share the pros that they're proposing for this particular plan. They're saying that it would generate multi-billion-dollars in construction investment. It would bring over 18,000 jobs to the area. So I just wanted to share the other side of things as well. We'll continue to dip in and out of this meeting just to see who else may come up to share their point of view, especially if we've got some passionate folks in the audience who want to share their thoughts. All right, in addition to that, while we're talking about multi-billion-dollars, I hear Powerball yesterday rose up to $1 billion. A lot of people excited to get on out there, see if maybe this is their lucky day. I want to touch things over to Dawn Timoney, who has been keeping up with people coming out, still getting their tickets. Dawn, what are you seeing on the grounds?
Well, Judea, we are live in Newtown Square in Delaware County outside of Wawa. That's been busy all day. People trying to get their tickets for this $1 billion jackpot. It's the 15th time only that the jackpot has reached $1 billion. It's the 8th largest ever in jackpot history. Now, I have to say, I bought plenty of ticket at Wawa's all over, but earlier today, we were in Springfield. We stopped at Springfield Beverage. If we can take a look at some of the video we shot there. This was, kind of a small mom and pop shop, and it was popping. People were coming in, buying their lottery tickets. Everyone we talked to seemed to have a strategy. The machine picked their own numbers. Here's a listen to what some of the lottery players told us about how they hope to win that $1 billion jackpot.
I got $20 worth, so my strategy is just I'd let the machine pick. I think the odds on the machines are better. That's what I'm told.
Usually when it gets bigger, I buy them. I bought 20 quick picks, and then I'm going to do some individual picks now on the lucky numbers. My mom's lucky numbers and my kids and some of mine.
I picked my numbers. My wife told me I had a good, we guessed what the water bill was, and I guessed right. She goes, you have to start picking your numbers. So I did that, but today I just let the machine pick them.
I don't like the machines. I like to talk to somebody, so usually I get them here, yes. I've gotten them on the machines once or twice, but I like to talk to somebody and get a vibe.
I have everyone's list. I have our names. All the tickets are in here. These are my own tickets bought separately. I have witnesses, and I bought tickets for my dad as well. So he's 90, and hopefully he's got grand plans for all his grandchildren.
So no one has won the lottery, this jackpot, in more than 3 months. It's the 44th consecutive drawing. Of course, the odds of winning are super slim. 201 in 292.1 million. You have a better chance of getting struck by lightning. That's 1 in 1.22 million. Or getting bitten by a shark, 1 in 4.3 million. But of course, people are dreaming big, and some people we talk to, Judea, are buying $20, $40, $60 worth of tickets. Others are buying just one single ticket, just a chance to win this jackpot. Most everyone we talked to said that they don't normally buy lottery tickets, but when it gets this big, $1 billion, they have to. Lots of people with their strategies and their superstitions, but everyone hoping that it will be a winner, their ticket will be a winner, and it will be life-changing.
Dawn, do you understand how confident you have to be with the odds that you just gave me? I think you said 1 in 292 million for someone to just buy one ticket, and they're like, "Yep, this is gonna be that 1 in 292." I got it. That's crazy.
Exactly, but you know, it only takes one to win. We did talk, Judea, to a lottery lawyer because a lot of people do lottery pools, and this lawyer was not a fan of that. I mean, there are pros and cons, but his biggest caution was make sure everything is documented, because he said inevitably somebody who's been in the pool all along, if it's been ongoing, right, when the jackpot gets big and doesn't get in on the winning one, then they might try to make a claim saying it rolled over, and then it could end up getting tied up in court. So his big advice was, if you're playing in a lottery pool, make sure the people who are playing in that particular pool, like say, for example, this $1 billion jackpot, that everybody is documented, that there are copies of their tickets, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't really think about it that way, but he said that oftentimes it can be tied up in court for months, maybe even years. He also said you should buy your tickets and do your pool outside work, so your job can't say, hey, you did it on company time, it's our money. So all kinds of little glitches that I didn't even think about.
No, I didn't think about this stuff either, but as you're saying it, I'm like, it's actually pretty good. I feel like this is a case
I know, right?
Judge Judy. Thank you for sharing with us. I was cracking up as we heard everyone's different strategies, especially the guy who says that he needs to come in person so he can catch a vibe, even from the guy who's selling it. That's crazy to me, because I know some people use the app, but I guess, you know, with him, he wants to see you, he wants to feel your energy, and that'll let him know if he's picking the right numbers, I guess.
And the place we were at is really kind of a neighborhood place. Everybody knew the manager when they came in and said hi. You know, it's a beverage store, so people go in there to buy beverages. So you really did get that kind of neighborhood feel, like, hey, we're going to win, because if somebody bought their ticket there and wins, the business also wins some money as well. But I love the guy who his wife said, guess what the water bill is? And he guessed right. And then she told him to play those numbers. So, and to pick his own numbers, that he might have some secret system that would work.
I love that one too. Always listen to the wife. They know best. Thank you so
Exactly.
much for sharing with us what everybody's out there doing. I just wonder, chat, are you guys feeling lucky? We actually had somebody, TikTok Pastor says they'll sell their ticket right now for $59. TikTok Pastor, what makes you think you have the winning numbers? Let us know your strategy right now too. Those of you guys who are streaming with us, let me know, with those odds that Dawn gave us, 1 in 292 million, are you feeling lucky? I am going to run through the newsroom in just a second because, you know, I want to touch base with my coworkers. We actually do have a pool here. I'm not a part of it. Maybe tonight I'll try to buy a ticket, because I hear the drawing isn't going to happen till around 11 or so our time. If you guys want to join us here, Fox on cable, or just look up the numbers afterward online. We will share that in real time when they come out. Maybe somebody here will end up being richer. We'll just have to, you know, look around and see who ends up not coming to work tomorrow. Or I've heard some people say if they did happen to win the lottery, they would keep working, at least for the next year. Keep things quiet. Nobody has to know what's going on with my pockets. And then randomly, I'll pop up missing, and I might be on somebody's beach. I want to know, if you won the lottery, what's the first thing you'd spend all that cold hard cash on? So we're going to check in with my coworkers. I'll also see what you guys said in our Go Vote. I want to just pop it up on screen if we can real quick. If you guys want to vote on this before we go to commercial break, because I'll be able to read your answers and let me know in our live stream chat too, all you got to do is go to fox29.com/go vote and put your vote in. You can also write me in our live stream chat. I'll read it and give some of y'all a shout out. We'll be right back. Everybody, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. As you can see, I've made it to the newsroom, which can only mean one thing. I'm asking my coworkers a question. So they're getting ready for the 10 o'clock news. I'm going to make it fast and I'm going to make it fun. If you won the $1 billion jackpot tonight, what's the first thing you would spend your money on? So we've got to go vote right now up on www.fox29.com/go vote. You guys can vote, our audience, in real time, but let's go around the newsroom and see what everybody would spend it on. Let's head and see our executive producer, Chris. All right, Chris, you wake up $1 billion richer. What's the first thing you spend your money on?
I pay off all the debts.
Me too. I would say the same.
Figure out the rest later. First thing I'm doing, I'm paying off every debt. Every credit card, mortgage.
Can you imagine all the stress that's just lifted off of you if that happens?
Yes. That's my fantasy. Everything else is icing on the cake. I would love a debt-free life.
So would I. Let's go continue around the newsroom, see what everybody else is thinking. Chris, thank you. Chaz, you'll wake up $1 billion richer. First thing you spend your money on is?
Yeah, I guess I'd pay my debts off. Yeah, anything else? Just taking care of my family.
When you say taking care of your family, do you mean giving out allowance, or do you mean just seeing what they need?
Everyone's getting Dodge Chargers.
Wait a minute. Hey, cousin. Are you hard at work? We'll skip you. We'll skip them. All right, remember, getting ready for the 10 o'clock news. We do have a lot of heavy stuff coming your way, so I want to make sure that I'm also respecting my coworkers on their time. Let's get on over here. I see a couple of other people. Larry might want to answer our question. Excuse me, can I come over here and interrupt you real quick? I'm talking to you. If you wake up tomorrow, $1 billion richer, first thing you spend your money on is?
No.
Okay.
She just heard that. I'm listening to the lawyer. So the first thing you have to have is your legal team and your financial team. And he also said you don't sign the ticket. So that if you set up a trust, then the trust is going to send the ticket in so that you're hidden behind the trust. In Pennsylvania, I believe you have to disclose, right? In Jersey, you can remain anonymous. I think in Florida you can remain anonymous. So if you take up residence in either of those states, you don't have to identify when you turn a ticket in.
This is somebody who's given this some thought, and we might need to chat later.
And my wife hates the fact that I said, she goes, aren't you going to go buy like that sports car that you like or the house down the shore or whatever? I go, no, I'm going to set up all the stuff first, and then you'll have an endless supply of money coming, right? Because you never touch the principal, only touch the interest.
That's a good man, Savannah. Okay, hold on. We're going to ask Cam over here too. Cam, I'm just curious with you. How you feeling?
I've known this plan that Larry has had for a couple of years now, so I'm riding kind of that same wave, but the first thing I would buy is probably like a legal team or accountant team or something like that, so that they can help me manage, because who has had $1 billion? If I had, I wouldn't be here. Yeah, so I have no idea how to manage that amount of money. So
okay, what I'm just curious for this too. Are you one of those people, let's say you do win the money, you disappear immediately, or?
I'm gone. You'll never see me again.
Okay, we'll see if we see you tomorrow. Cam, appreciate you. My coworkers are so interesting. All the different ways they say they spend the money. I really like Larry's answer. I think we all could stand to learn something from it. So let me see if any of you guys are weighing in. Keep in mind, www.fox29.com/go vote. I want to see if we can pop that up on the screen real quick and just see how people are voting in real time. Again, we've got that going for you guys. So it looks like we'll show you after this commercial break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. We're turning back serious because we have a very peculiar case on our hands. Every time we learn a new detail in this investigation, it just feels like we're watching the beginnings of a Stephen King movie or something like that. We heard that there's an investigation going on into a situation, a home, and a man that they say may be connected to missing women and possibly even their deaths. I want to turn things over to Jenny Joyce, another one of our reporters who's been covering everything going on at West Chew Avenue. Jenny, I heard that you were out there earlier today. What did you got for us?
Good evening, Jude. We were back at the scene today, and there were a few police cars that were just sitting outside of the scene. Police made it very clear that they have a lot more investigating to do. So far, they have executed more than 95 search warrants on that home, announcing today that while they were searching, they did come across photographic evidence of two women who had been reported missing. One of them, I think we have her photo, being Maribel Freisis. We have a picture from a National Missing and Unidentified Persons database. Freisis was last seen on February of 2018. Investigators say images and videos of Freisis as well as Gabrielle Amarando, who was missing since 2012, were discovered on electronic devices that were seized from Eugene Horsch's only home. The videos show the women alive and then apparently deceased. Police say they have, again, executed more than 95 search warrants at the home. They are just beginning to process hundreds of thousands of images and videos. In addition, police say that through their search, they discovered a lab in the basement of the home where they found about 20 containers with an unknown oily substance on them. That substance is currently being tested. Police say this is a very complex case. It's one that will take time, and they need the public's help.
Jenny, I appreciate you giving us some of the nuts and bolts of what was happening. I know earlier we were able to share just a smidgen of the press conference. I want to see if we can play that again for our audience. It's the police that are speaking about what they found.
New territory for the homicide unit in Philadelphia. Usually when we have a homicide investigation, we have a body, we have body parts. This time we do not. This is from the medical examiner. Based on the video and photo evidence, if the images in the video are real and not altered in any way, then based on their review, the ME would believe the individuals depicted in the images are deceased. However, without having an actual body or body parts to physically examine, the ME cannot conclusively declare them deceased.
So now, Judea, police are asking anyone with information about the home, anyone who may have been inside that home, or anyone who might have a loved one that has been missing and concerns that maybe they are involved in this case somehow, to give them a call. There is a police tip line. It's 215-686-8477.
Thank you for providing the number for us. Again, I told Shawnette this earlier, but for anybody who's just now joining our live stream chat, this seems to be one of those cases where you might think anything that you saw or experienced in that area is just run-of-the-mill. It might be normal to you, but you might be shocked and surprised to find out that that could end up being something that helps them break this case. My thoughts are just with the family. I mean, there's knowing that there may be some photos of their loved ones, people that they've thought were missing for quite some time now, but without having the body, I mean, could we consider this closure? I guess what would be happening next?
Yeah, so I'm very interested in your upcoming interview with an attorney who can kind of talk us through those next steps. You know, we also heard from police, and they said that, you know, the medical examiner, without that body, they really can't solve this case. So that's why we know that police have a lot of work ahead of them. I know they're going back through that house, you know, to try to clear some of this up.
So, I mean, another question for you, as you did get to get out there after the press conference, I heard the police were in the area. Does that mean they were looking for something in particular, just surveilling the area? Do you have any idea what they were doing back out there today?
You know, Judea, I think there's a good chance that we will see police at this home daily for who knows how long. I mean, they said that this case is going to take a considerable amount of time. You know, hundreds of thousands of images. Lord only knows, you know, what they are going to discover with those images, videos. We're talking manuscripts, writings, drawings. And I think that is going to continue to either send police out to that home or to maybe send police to other locations. I think it's going to be months before we get follow-up information.
Wow. Well, We will be trying to keep our eyes on it. I know you've been one of our main reporters who have been touching base on this story, trying to give us all the information that we can over the last couple of weeks and months, really. So, Jenny, I appreciate you making some time for us here on Philadelphia Live. Again, as she just mentioned to you all, we do have an interview coming up. We'll be talking to somebody who was a former police officer who really specialized in this kind of forensic analysis and investigating, almost like a detective. So we'll try to pick his brain a little later on just to see, you know, what happens next. That question that I asked Jenny Joyce, the question that I think all of us have in this case, when you find evidence like photos that seem to show these missing women alive, and then all of a sudden you see these missing women potentially dead in these photos, but you don't have a body, what do police do after that? Does this mean they have a strong case? What more could they be looking for? And as Jenny was mentioning, there were police back out there today. And so my question there is, are we still looking for stuff? Or are they just making sure that no one tampers with a potential crime scene? You know, what exactly are we dealing with? So hopefully we'll be able to talk to someone soon about what's going on there. And I do see this attorney that I want to bring you on now to, who's a former police officer, on the standby for us. So I want to introduce you guys. Some of you already know him very, very well. Talking to attorney Shaka Johnson. Shaka, first of all, thank you for making time for us here on Philadelphia Live. We appreciate your insight.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
So I know that you have been keeping up with this case as well. It's one of those things that's kind of tickling all of our brains because every detail that we learn, I keep saying, it feels like a horror novel or a movie. So
it does.
Today we had this press conference where now they reveal these images, and I know you've worked in forensics before. So I guess my first question for you is, with this kind of information, these pictures, would this be considered a breakthrough in the case? What more could they try to look for to pin this on someone like Eugene Horsch?
Well, actually, it sounds like more than a breakthrough. It sounds like the case has taken a hard left.
Wow.
This case originally began with drugs and guns and illegal weapons and fake IDs and perpetrating imagery of federal agents. And it began one way. And then at some point during the course of the investigation, it's turned into a missing persons / homicide investigation. I think it was Commissioner Evers who indicated during the press conference, this is something like an issue of first impression for the Philadelphia Police Department, even with their learned homicide detectives. This is something out of a movie, it seems. You have an investigation that starts with one thing, and after they keep peeling back the layers and peeling back the layers. And then now you have a gentleman who lives in a house, and there's video that the police seem to think was taken in that house with what medical examiners and forensic pathologists are saying are dead bodies in those videos, or are likely dead bodies in those videos. And so this has taken a hard left, and I am applaud the police department for reaching out to their federal partners, realizing that this is a very tall task and they're going to have to do a collaborative effort with some of their law enforcement brothers and sister agencies.
So when you worked in forensics, you'd get out to a scene like this one. They got out to the home, and I think the first thing they did was dig up the yard. If you could put yourself in their shoes, what kind of stuff would you be looking for, and what would help you in your investigation?
Well, you have to think about what they're doing now, right? They're looking in the plumbing. That is, you have to, if a body was at this particular property at 417 True Avenue, what we know is it had to be disposed of in some form or fashion. It's a little too easy to see cremains sitting in urns and say, well, maybe those are the people we're looking for. That's a little bit easy. And so I heard Commissioner Evers say that they're looking in the plumbing. They're checking the plumbing traps. There is a questionable liquid there that may be a corrosive material that they're having tested. That's significant because if the bodies are not able to be discovered, you have to begin to wonder then how were they disposed of? These are all questions that have to be answered, and they don't have to be answered in any particular order. You just have to get the answer to these questions, and a thorough investigation will start to unpack that for you.
And let me ask you this, because I asked you over the phone when we were trying to determine where we would take this interview. So one of the things that I was really interested in is you find photos, but you don't find a person, you don't find a body. So how
Right.
do you link the two so that you can further the investigation?
Well, think about it. These people, these women, were not missing for a little bit of time. I believe the commissioner said one was missing since 2018, and I think the other since 2012. So these are not missing persons who have been gone for a little bit of time. So when you factor in how long that these women have been missing, have not contacted their loved ones, haven't spoken to their family, haven't surfaced anywhere, they've left no digital footprint anywhere, and we live in a digital world. They have been off the grid for a very long time. To see them in a video that, if it has not been altered, they appear to be deceased. I think that is absolutely a step toward probable cause for a warrant for arrest of Mr. Horsch. Now, I think it's also critical that Mr. Horsch has been living at this property for a very, very long time. Prior to him, his father lived at that property until his recent passing just last year in 2025. And so it's not a situation where someone else lived there or this is a rental unit. This is somewhere that he has legacy and family ties with for decades. And so when you have a video that police seem to believe, and they'll have to prove this, of course, but that video was taken in that property. And I'm also made to understand that there were videos of those women alive. So if you have videos of the women alive, and then videos or photographs purporting to show the women now deceased that are taken at that property that is under your control for the last few decades, I think we're working our way toward probable cause for an arrest for their homicides.
So you're saying it's not that big of a stretch to suggest that if you saw them alive, now you see them dead, and it's possibly in the same area, it's not that big of a stretch to say you may have done it.
Well, you may have had something to do with it, and what they're looking for now, with respect to going back, they have served 95 warrants, search warrants on this one property. 95 search warrants. So I really just want you to understand the scope and the magnitude of the undertaking that's happening right now. Almost 100 search warrants. So they are really making every effort at dotting I's and crossing T's. And they're back again now, looking at some other portions of this particular property where I think, were just walking back and forth before. Now that we know that there's perhaps a corrosive material that obviously has a different effect on body and bone and tissue and whatnot. And so they're looking in some other places with hopes of finding microscopic bone, with hopes of finding dental matter, with hopes of finding human tissue, because they want to be able to put forensically those women in that property.
I'm glad you went over the numbers, because now I want you to put your attorney hat on. So 95 search warrants, they're looking into 600,000 images, 70,000 videos, and we're hearing 10,000 pages of writings, manuscripts, and even drawings in this case. As an attorney, if you hear the police have that kind of evidence that they're looking into, what's going through your head?
Well, that just tells me there's a treasure trove of information that potentially may do something. But it really doesn't if I have my attorney hat on the way in which I always do. Those numbers don't frighten me initially because I haven't heard of any evidence linking Mr. Horsch directly to those women's disappearance. Or you have to put Mr. Horsch at the property at the time those women were killed, if in fact, respectfully, those women are in fact deceased. And so I think it moves the needle, right? I'd be misleading you if I didn't tell you it doesn't move the needle, but it certainly is not a slam dunk, as is the saying. But it does move the needle for probable cause for an arrest. A conviction is yet way down the road. And so what you see with these dotting of I's and crossing of T's, the police department making sure they leave no stone unturned, trying to make sure there's no legal loophole for a person to crawl through. But that's because the reasonable doubt stage is a different animal altogether. So you can have 600,000 images and all of this, but you have to show me something that links Mr. Horsch to their disappearance and ultimately to their demise.
Okay, now let's just run things back real quick. Let's say maybe somehow they do find remains of both of these women. what kind of testing has to be done, number one? And then two, I've heard of people using dental records to try to match a remain to a person. What other things can you look at to make an identification match?
Well, if they find what they believe are remains, you will have all of that material. You will have all that tissue by which to test forensically for DNA. That's if you have skeletal remains, then of course you can use a forensic odontologist to look at dental records. There's a few things you can do, and those are like the main two that you typically hear about.
And how long does it take to do that testing? How long does it take for results to come back in on average?
Well, because the Philadelphia Police Department is currently using their FBI partners, I think this will move along at breakneck speed. In the traditional course of criminal litigation, this can take sometimes DNA sometimes takes a year to come back, sometimes more, sometimes a little less, but it is not a quick process. I would like to think that with the federal government involved and the level of exposure that this case is getting nationwide, even worldwide, that this will get priority at a laboratory, and I think they'll have testing results back if they were to find some matter to test within perhaps even days, even weeks, or a really short, like a percentage of the normal time.
One last question for you, because I did wonder this as well. Why choose to publicize the information that we have right now? Because I did hear them say there's still testing to be done. I did hear them say they haven't definitely made the connection between the identities to the photos, the videos that they have. So why publicize it now?
You know, historically, the Philadelphia Police Department has not been one for the greatest amount of transparency. And to their credit, in this particular case, they are, you have a neighborhood. This is a residential neighborhood here on Chew Avenue that's been upended. It is police presence like they are not used to. You've got federal authorities, local authorities. And so I think the police department is taking on a position now where they're saying we need to be transparent. That seems to be the word of choice for this particular moment, some transparency with our community so we can let folks know what it is we're doing, what we're finding. We don't want to act like we know it all. We don't want to act like we know more than we're telling and we're keeping things close to our vest. In this particular case, we'd like the community and everyone else who has an interest with the over large community does have an interest in this particular case, even if we don't share a zip code with 417 Chew Avenue, of finding out what is going on. Because this is quite frightening for people who live both near and far. We just said it. It sounds like something out of Amityville Horror. And so the police want to let people know step by step as things go. I think transparency is the way that you win over your community.
I mean, I think that you're right there. I think you hit the nail right on the head. If I were a neighbor, I would want to know that my police force is doing everything they can. And just as you said, I would also want to know what you don't know, because then it makes me feel like you're willing to tell me the truth about what's going on in the investigation. So I guess all we can do is wait to see what happens next. I know your eyes are going to be on this case. You've really been checking it out since the beginning. Appreciate you here joining us on Philadelphia Live to weigh in on what we've got going on. Again, we'll see what comes out next.
Thank you for having me. And yes, I will be keeping in touch with you guys and let you know what I think about this case. Thank you so much.
No problem. I appreciate you joining us on our stream. Now, I saw somebody on our live stream chat, JBen28, just wanted to make sure, is this Shaka Johnson? Yes, we were just listening into attorney Shaka Johnson sharing with us just some of his expertise when he was a former police officer who specialized in forensics investigations. He talked to us a little bit about, if he were on the case, what things would he be looking into, and just sharing with us so we all understand the evidence that we're now getting and that we've heard of in this press conference. Now, if you are unfamiliar with this case just in its entirety, don't worry. Soon we are going to share that full press conference from earlier where you'll be able to hear from the Philadelphia Police Department what we know about this situation on West Chew Avenue, Again, today we're finding out that there are some new images, videos perhaps, of two women who were missing. They seem to be alive in some videos, and they say they also have some videos that may show these women now dead, and they were found in the home of a man who was arrested not too long ago. This case by the way, all started with a ranger just so happening to stop this particular vehicle that was the person inside of it. There was 44-year-old Eugene Horsch, and he was also with another woman. This ranger stopped them, asking some questions, and through that preliminary investigation discovered that these people were using, as they say, fake IDs, and that one of the IDs happened to match a missing woman. They say they also had fake IDs matching officers, which of course is a crime in and of itself if you're impersonating an officer. So from there, they went and searched the home. They dug up the yard of the home and believe that this person may have a connection to these missing women. Now to find that there may have been drugs found in this home, a gun in the vehicle. They are trying to determine whether urns found on the property may match any of these missing women. It's just, there's a lot to unpack with this case. We do have an article up on our website right now, free Fox local app or fox29.com. It is one of the top trending stories. I believe it is #1 on our website if you want to go and try to comb through what we know so far. But also, I just want to let you know, coming up still, we've got live reports in the 10 o'clock hour with Shawnette Wilson and Jennifer Joyce, 2 reporters here at Fox 29 who are doing everything they can to try to make this story make sense for you all. Again, we got a lot of information to comb through and to try to, compartmentalize so that it makes sense to an audience in a short period of time. But if you're looking to see everything we've got later in this live streaming hour, I will share the press conference in its entirety with you. And then again, we've got those live reports coming up in the 10 o'clock hour with Shawnette Wilson and Jennifer Joyce. So you've got a lot to look forward to. You guys are going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I want to turn the corner on our topics here. We're going to check out what's going on in the world of sports. So the Phillies played earlier today. Not the best game. We'll see what's going on, how we lost our mojo. We'll also be checking in with some of our other local teams just to see what we've got cooking. So we'll be joined by our sports team just to see what's going on out in the world. We'll be right back after this break. Hey guys, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. I want to turn the base and get on into the world of sports, so I'm bringing in Breland Moore from our sports team. Breland, we really got a lot to talk about today.
Hey, so Judea, I have a problem for you. Whoever is running my audio in my ear just put our on air so I can hear a Chewy commercial. Not you.
I actually can't hear you either.
There
What
we
did you
go.
say?
Perfect. Awesome. I'm like, listen, I'm already a Chewy customer. We don't need to advertise to me. I'm trying to convey it. Anyway, I'm sorry. What did you ask me?
I was asking you about the Phillies. We want to get into that first. We've had this, I know, that's exactly where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
We played them for the last 3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
Afternoon games today, lost again. Where's our mojo? What's going on?
I don't really know. And at this point, you know, for so long today, we've had this conversation of it's not time to panic. It absolutely is time to panic here. You've got just a couple of weeks left to go here in this regular season. And when you look at the wild card standings as of right now, the Phillies are out of the playoffs right now. That's what we're looking at this point. Now, it is a very tight race. You really got to watch some of these teams here. You're looking at the Diamondbacks, the Padres, and the Marlins all kind of bunched up right there in the mix with the Phillies. And a lot can change, you know, on a week-to-week basis. But really, we're inching up here on September, and that will leave just a few games left on the schedule. And unfortunately, you know, I read something a couple of days ago, and it was like a hot take type of thing. And one of the takes on there doesn't really seem so hot, and it was that the Phillies would miss the postseason. After the All-Star game, they have not been doing so hot, whereas the Diamondbacks and the Padres kind of have been trending upward. And they also have much easier strength of schedule between basically All-Star break and the end of season here than the Phillies do. And so it's a lot concerning, not just a little bit concerning about where this team is headed and the trajectory of it. And yeah, if it's not the pitching, then it's the offense. Today it was both, unfortunately. You know, you can't lose 7-1 to the Cardinals and, you know, not blame the entire team on this. But yeah, they are really, really struggling. Hopefully they can get it together tomorrow. They've got a really important game coming up. Well, not really important, but nice headlining game, let's put it that way, with this Field of Dreams game against the Twins tomorrow in Iowa. So hopefully they can get it together and really piece some good strings of contests here, because it's a little troubling.
I mean, importance, I guess, to the fans, because I hear that I've never watched Field of Dreams, and I keep telling myself that I need to because of how everyone reacts when they say, you know, they're reenacting the movie on field, and a lot of people are excited to see that. So I guess going into that, knowing that you just lost multiple times in a row, I mean, how do you get out there on the field to still play some good ball, have a good time, and give the fans a good show?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it kind of gets them out of their rut a little bit here, just being in that small town ballpark and having that experience, and just kind of, I mean, only 2 teams get to play in it every single year. So hopefully it kind of kicks them into high gear here, because like I said, this is crunch time, and they need to start stringing together some really impressive baseball. And right now it is, it's anything but at this point. Yeah, I got to be really honest with you. I'm not at all excited for the Field of Dreams game, and I'm not at all excited about this team at the moment, especially, you know, when you look around the rest of this city and everybody else is doing some really amazing things, and there's so much to talk about. The Phillies are just kind of there, unfortunately, and that's completely 100% of their own doing. Jason Martinez and I on the Fantastic Sports Show, the day Rob Thompson was fired, their former manager, I said, I don't really know if it's 100% Rob Thompson's fault. I mean, at the end of the day, your players have to execute. And it's the same story right now as it's playing out. The players have to execute. It is not the manager's problem. It might be a little bit, but at the end of the day, your players have to play. And they surely are not doing that well at all.
Well, yeah, you did say that, and I think a lot of fans saw Don Mattingly come in, and then all of a sudden we started winning and thought maybe it was a manager issue, but you keep changing certain variable and it's still coming out with the same result. I mean, gotta look other places. Now let's pick up the mood.
Yeah.
Something that I think everybody is excited about. NBA is supposed to be releasing full game schedules tomorrow.
Yeah, so right now we have little snippets of the schedule. We got our Leagues Cup play schedule. We saw that it's Knicks, Cavs, Heat, and then the Pacers. That's your group play stage. And then after that, of course, if the Sixers advance, then we will know that in time. So that's your group play. And then we also get the holiday schedule as well, which is super exciting. We all know that they are playing Christmas. That was already announced, but today it was also announced that they have MLK Day as well as President's Day. So super, super exciting. And yeah, we can obviously look forward to the full season schedule coming very, very soon. But Janae, it's very, I know that you're relatively new here, but I need you to know how fun it is and how important it is that people are excited about Sixers basketball. That team has had this stink, this funk, this level of apathy surrounding it for so long. And the fact that this city is locked in on Sixers basketball already in August, that's an incredible sign for this team. And I hope that they can live up to some of these expectations.
I mean, I hope so too. I think the excitement was already starting to come in with Jaylen Brown, but then hearing compounded on top of that, LeBron James. We got a crazy starting lineup. I know a lot of people were already talking about game prices. Sorry, you guys. Very expensive. Very expensive. I think the cheapest game ticket for the season opener, it may have been the home opener, $2,000. That's the cheapest.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Everyone wants to see LeBron James. And it really is something very, very special that they have going on here. But yeah, that entire arena, it has just had a wonderful transformation because I mean, not to leave them out, but the Flyers as well, making their playoff run, they have a ton of excitement going on in that entire building between those two teams. So it'll be a really interesting and really fun fall for everybody involved. And I mean, we're a little bit away from it, but not really when you think about how close October is. It's only a handful of weeks, Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. Well, not the Phillies, but everybody else is having fun.
Yikes. Hate to be you. So thank you so much, Freeland, for sharing what's going on in the world of sports. We'll keep our eyes on what's happening, but appreciate you bringing us the latest. I just wanted to share as well. I've been talking about, trying to get my merch game up, and I've got to figure out what Eagles gear I'm going to get in my closet. And I heard that the Eagles may be returning the white Kelly green look, so maybe that should be a little higher on my list. I was trying to determine whether I was going to get a Kelly green jersey or like the traditional kind of like teal blue green, but maybe Kelly green should be a little higher. Anyway, you guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, while we're talking about astronomically priced tickets, I hear it's going to cost you a little extra this year to try to get your kids ready for back to school. A lot of kids are getting ready to return to their classrooms. Parents, guardians of the like are trying to get their shopping in, and I heard it may break the bank. We'll be talking with an expert to share some of the what's going on in the consumer industry and see, how we can maybe save some money, take a look at the statistics that just came on out. We'll have a live report on that when we come back. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Our kids up north are getting ready to go back to school. And I'm hearing that some parents, some guardians, anybody who's trying to buy school supplies for them right now, they're already planning, you guys, to go into debt just to get them ready. That's how much higher our prices are this time of year. So keep in mind, we're already, some of us, drowning, trying to keep up with the price of gas, trying to keep up with the price of our groceries. And now we're hearing that 45% of parents think that they may go into debt just to get their kids some pencils, backpacks, and a lunchbox. That's crazy. But to share with us, you know, the kind of the science, the reason, the rhyme and reason behind these numbers that we're seeing here, I want to bring in Benga Ajilore, the chief economist from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. Welcome on into Philadelphia Live. I appreciate having you here.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
No problem. So, I mean, what are some of the biggest price increases that our families are seeing right now?
So some of the biggest things that we're seeing are double-digit price increases on lunch boxes, index cards, notebooks, and then you go to food, things like fruit juices, things like that. There was a data today that we saw that apples are 11% more expensive today than they were a year ago. Tomatoes, 12.8%, and all this starts to add up.
My goodness, this, by the way, you guys, some of the statistics that we'll be referencing comes from Groundwork Collaborative and the Century Foundation, just to make sure that we're citing our sources too. But back to the interview, I mean, I am wondering what's going on here. So what economic forces, I should say, are leading to the increasing prices that we're seeing here? I may have mentioned a couple, but what are you seeing on your end of things?
So the biggest thing that we look at this year is all over a lot of different countries on a lot of different goods, you know, from Canada, from Mexico. And so all that's been adding up and it's just been ongoing. And then we have the conflict in the Middle East that has closed the Strait of Hormuz. And so you talked about gas prices before, but we're looking at diesel. So diesel's impacting transportation costs, fertilizer that's impacting food. And so we've had all these combined forces that are adding up that's making it more expensive and back to school time.
I mean, I'm just curious. I know this isn't necessarily a wheelhouse, but do you have any tips on how we can beat some of these prices, where you might be finding cheaper items, or is it a matter of just shopping earlier than later? Anything to help?
Yes. This is where you try to buy a lot of goods. Some of it just use some of the stuff from before. So we think about lunch boxes are like almost 12% more expensive. Use the lunchbox from before, maybe paper bags like we used to do back in the day. The other thing is, you know, certain states, certain cities will have these sales tax free weeks, and try to look at, you know, deals, coupons. Try to find places where it's going to be cheaper or they have deals and take advantage of those.
So I'm actually glad that you brought that up. I want to let our audience know on fox29.com, our digital team did some digging to try to figure out what will help you as well. You mentioned some of the areas that might have tax-free year-round or anything like that, sales tax that we're talking about here. Delaware just so happens to have a 0% sales tax year-round. So if you're here in Philadelphia or the South Jersey area, it might be worth it to take a trip over there to do some of your shopping. But Benga, another question that I have for you, people, working families, like working class families, obviously this feels a bit of a pinch. Are you hearing from people on the grounds about how they're dealing with this, how they might be feeling about everything that's going on?
Yeah, I haven't heard about people with solutions. This has been a huge struggle. So, you know, in that report, they say that the average family is going to spend $175 more on back to school items, which may not sound a lot to certain people, but then you look at, you know, what's been happening with gas prices over the last 5, 6 months, and they're paying $325 more than they did before. That's $500. And then, you know, I think about low and moderate income households, you know, the people who've been, you know, losing SNAP, you know, for food assistance, the Affordable Care Act, the tax credit expired earlier this year. So healthcare has become expensive. So, you know, on top of the back to school higher prices, we're seeing higher prices at the grocery store. We're seeing more expensive healthcare. And then, you know, people, the things that are there, the programs that are there to help support people, you know, are being cut and going to continue to be cut. And so that's, you know, the things that I'm hearing about.
And And I think that kind of weighs into primary elections that we're seeing. Like, this would be the time, you guys, if you've got an election in your area, to really think hard about who you want to use your vote for. Because, again, it is some of the policies that we're seeing that may be compounding these higher prices that we're seeing. So, you know, just maybe worth it to see who's on the ballot. Benga, again, I appreciate you making some time for us, just sharing, because when I saw that one of the biggest increases having to be a lunchbox, I was just like, what's happening? What are we doing here, and how do we help ourselves and help our babies? So I'm glad that we were able to bring somebody in that can help make us make a little more sense to the numbers that we're seeing from Groundwork Collaborative. Appreciate having you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, you guys, coming back here with me in studio again. I mentioned this article that I really suggest you guys take a look at. Amanda Hurley, again, from our digital team, put this article together. If you want to look it up, it's called Back to School Shopping. Is it worth the trip to Delaware for Philly, New Jersey parents? Again, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, we offer year-round sales tax exemptions on clothing, on footwear, but Delaware has 0% sales tax in general, year-round. So again, it may be worth it to go out of state to do your shopping if you don't mind paying a little extra for gas. So honestly, it's going to get you somewhere, but we're just trying to help out where we can. So that's just a little bit for you. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, I want to run through some of our biggest headlines of the day. We'll touch base on some things that are happening nationally that may impact you. We'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. I want to help you make sense of some headlines that you may have seen on social media, maybe even just trending on Google. These are stories that are happening across our country. So maybe you heard 2 adults, 1 child. They were killed in an incident at an at-home daycare in Hopkins, Minnesota. We were on this story live for you guys between the 12 and 2 p.m. Philadelphia live streaming show. But we do have a little bit more information to bring out to you guys just to keep you updated. So again, 2 adults, 1 child killed after an incident at an in-home daycare in Hopkins, Minnesota. There were 6 other children who were inside the home at the time. Thankfully, they were left unharmed and have since been reunited with their families. Police say that this was an isolated incident. There's no threat to the public at this time, but obviously this is something that shook up the entire community. We're talking about Brown Bear Daycare on the 200 block of Tyler Avenue North, just in case you guys are familiar with the area out there in Minnesota. Police found that one of the adults is a man, one adult is a woman, and they say a child was dead. Again, 6 other children in the home at the time. Thankfully, they were not hurt. They do believe that the man who was found dead may have been the perpetrator in this case. They say that he took his own life. So again, a very disturbing scene that we were getting information on. You're seeing video from earlier in our live streaming show. I just wanted to close the loop on what we were learning about there. I also want to bring you guys an update. Ebola, a disease that you probably haven't heard about in a long time, but has been making headlines week after week here in the U.S. We're hearing that the WHO has now said that this Ebola outbreak in Congo is on track to surpass the deadliest outbreak we have seen in all of history. That is a very big deal. So again, this is an ongoing outbreak of Ebola in the Congo. It's killed over 11,000 people already, and the World Health Organization says that it's on pace to surpass the deadliest outbreak that we saw in West Africa between 2014 and 2016. Remember, that was at the time where they tried to struggle to put together a vaccine, and it did end up happening. This outbreak is in the eastern Congo. It is considered the fastest growing outbreak in history. It's killed over 2,000 people out of the more than 4,300 cases that have been being investigated. Outbreak was declared on May 15th. Health authorities say that sequencing shows that it may have begun months earlier, impacting more people. We're talking about more deaths in this particular case. And this is a rare bout of the outbreak as well. So again, we're trying to keep up with everything that we have here. They say that the outbreak had a really big head start and that 2 vaccines for this type of the Ebola case here that we're talking about have been tested and hopefully will be going into being implemented. So again, that's the latest that we have there. I just wanted to make sure now we are all aware at how rapidly this is spreading. Another big one, if I could take you out to the White House, we heard that Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, has officially resigned from her office. So we got this news into the newsroom earlier today, helped break it on the 4 o'clock streaming show with our Bill Anderson. So Caroline Leavitt posted on social media that she would be leaving the White House by the end of August, and she's leaving on good terms. So President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, honestly, a very heartfelt note to her, talking about how he felt about her time with him in the White House. He called her probably one of the best press secretaries he's ever had and that the White House has ever seen. Keep in mind, he's been through 4 of them already. She's only 28 years old. She's the youngest White House press secretary that we've ever seen. He said that she's leaving because she wants to spend more time with her young children, her family, and he says it's a decision that he not only understands but respects. So keep in mind, Caroline just gave birth to a little girl, Viviana, May 1st, I believe. At that time, she was out of the White House for a couple of months between April to July. There were multiple people who stepped in her place. I mean, we got to hear from J.D. Vance leading a press meeting in the White House with all of the media. We got to see even Marco Rubio lead one of those meetings. I think Dr. Oz led one of those meetings. So a lot of people have tried to step into her place, but President Donald Trump says she's kind of one of one. So again, she also posted and she talked about, how this has been one of the most demanding jobs that she's ever had. It's considered one of the most demanding jobs, she would say, in the entire world. To try to balance that with motherhood has been very difficult. And she feels like this is roundabouts the time where she just wants to be at home and, raise her children and, see them grow up. So she said it might be that time of her life. It's a bittersweet decision, but she needs to depart the White House and embark on a new chapter in her life. President Donald Trump says she's not going very, very far. She will continue, as he says, to be one of the leading voices in the Republican Party. He also says that he will be leading on her heavily, that she will, and I quote, I want to make sure I get this right. It's from his Truth Social post. An influential voice within the Republican Party. He says that they will work to defy history. It goes on to say, conclusively win the midterm elections, So, just really interesting there at how he plans to see her role kind of coming down in the White House, but expanding within the Republican Party itself. So that's the latest information about her departure that we've got there. Again, seems like they're leaving on a positive note. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I also want to get into some trending news of the day. We told you not too long ago about a very shocking live streaming incident involving Perez Hilton. We've got an update on what's going on there. We also want to tell you about a recall, a very popular vehicle. You probably drive it. They're recalling hundreds and thousands of these cars. You need to know what's going on there. And then I hear there's a job opportunity for any of you guys who like to game. If your mother said nothing would come good of you being in the basement playing the video game, well, joke's on her. You may be getting a really big paycheck in your future. We'll be talking about it when we come back. Hey guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Let's get into some of our trending news of the day. Here's the stuff that's going viral that a lot of people are clicking on, reading about, even watching videos about it. They're the trending stories on Google as we speak. So a couple of weeks ago, I was up here with our Jake Leonard from the digital team, and we were talking about Perez Hilton because not too long ago, he was on live stream appearing to harm himself in front of all of his fans, different people who were just concerned for his well-being. They were able to get in contact with law enforcement who were able to do a welfare check on him. He was taken to the hospital. Now we're hearing there's updates in that particular case. His mom has filed for custody of his kids. I had mentioned that he had young kids. This is after that live stream. She says that she wants to protect the children, and she's been speaking through her lawyer. So again, she has filed for temporary custody of Perez Hilton's 3 children. She filed the petition in a Miami family court on August 7th, which was 3 days after he appeared in that viral TikTok live stream, according to court records. Now on August 4th, he was hospitalized again after that incident that happened while he was at his home in Miami. It was a very graphic situation. Obviously, we are not playing any video, anything like that, but I do want to say that whatever he's going through as he remains hospitalized, as he's being cared for, and hopefully someone is digging a little deeper into his mental, what's happening internally with him. I'm just hoping that he comes out on top of all of this. But of course, the children come first, so I hope that being with his mother is the best thing for them. Another thing that I want to talk to you all about, very popular vehicle that maybe even some of you guys out there streaming with me right now may drive. The Toyota Camry has been recalled, a couple of 100,000. We're talking about 655,000 Camrys. Toyota announced this today that they're recalling hundreds of thousands of this particular model due to what they're saying is a display error. Excuse me, my accent. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says that the 7-inch display combination inside these cars might go black as soon as the car starts. This could cause safety indicators, including your hazard lights, seatbelt reminders, even your key and ignition buzzers, to not function as usual, which obviously would be a concern. So they say that this issue may increase the risk of crashes. Toyota Motor North America says it's not going to let anyone I want to make it this right. They will be letting anyone with these affected vehicles know that their vehicle is impacted and that you should bring it back to your dealership. All you got to do is go to a certified dealership for a free software upgrade, and they say that should fix the problem. Global recall relates to cars made between December 2023 and July of 2026. Toyota says there's more than 508,000 2025 to 2026 Camry hybrid models that were sold in the U.S. that are affected. So if you do have one of these cars, take a look. You may need to bring it into the dealership to get that checked out. And it'll be free as long as you go to a certified dealership. Another story that I want to update you guys on, let's take a live look at Philadelphia International Airport. I hear Secretary Duffy has made an announcement that air traffic controllers may be hiring, and it looks like 2,000 of them are gamers. So all of that joystick work and knowing what to do when you look at the screen, all these simulation video games may come in handy. So like I said, if mom ever told you you were wasting your time playing the video games, maybe she was wrong. Federal Aviation Administration has hired more than 2,000 people as air traffic controllers are launching a recruitment campaign that, like I said, is aimed in part, at least, at video gamers. Secretary Sean Duffy says that this is a game changer. The FAA has reached 94% of its hiring goal and has more than 2,000 additional candidates still on the line, in the pipeline. Duffy posted this on X a couple of days ago. The FAA supercharged the entire hiring process to get the best and the brightest in faster. He says the results are historic, and we're building the strongest, sharpest workforce in aviation history. Now, if you are unclear about what an air traffic controller does, remember that during the government shutdown, this was a huge deal, that they didn't have air traffic controllers working. These are the people in the watchtowers who are watching the tarmac on the runway as the flights are coming in, as they are landing, and as they are going out, making sure that there are no crashes. They're keeping our pilots up to date with everything they need to see in their line of vision. They're like the first line of defense if anything were to happen. You see that tower in the middle of each of these shots of our famous airports? That tower is where the air traffic controllers sit. So again, thousands of gamers may have a new job coming down the line, and air traffic controllers make a pretty little penny, so not a bad gig at all. So those are just a couple of the trending stories, what's going viral right now, what everybody's searching for on Google. If you guys have a story that you want me to talk about, all you got to do is write us in one of our live streaming chats. We are live right now on Facebook, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Speaking of TikTok, just want to shout out Musa Mustafa, who says, I just love listening to the news to know what's going on around the world. But we love having you. Guys, with that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, I want to get things going again on some of our biggest stories of the week. I heard that flock cameras have becoming an issue because they may be misused by bad doers. So we'll be touching base with a cybersecurity expert on everything you need to know, and I'll also be talking to you about some of our lawmakers who are trying to make some change. We'll get into it when we come back. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. I want to get into an important conversation. We keep seeing flock cameras coming up in our headlines of the day, sometimes big stories across the nation, and I'm realizing that not everybody knows what a flock camera is. So there's pieces of technology, cameras that are based on some of our major roadways. They can capture your license plate, and sometimes this helps our officers be able to find suspects very quickly. Like, for example, if there's an Amber Alert and they're looking for a specific license plate that a suspect may be driving, these flock cameras located on some of our busiest roads may catch that car and be able to keep up with it and let our law enforcement know where that person is in real time. So sometimes it can be very helpful, but I'm hearing that there are some concerns that maybe it's meddling with our private citizen privacy. So I want to bring in a cybersecurity expert, Harry Moggins. You see him on Philadelphia Live a lot. Harry, welcome on in.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I mean, I want to dig right in here because lawmakers are even starting to weigh in. So did I explain how flock cameras work well? And do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, you nailed it. So they're popping up everywhere. They look innocuous. You might see this tiny black camera that you hadn't noticed before and you're not sure what it is. There's no signs or branding. And they're popping up on small side streets, on bigger roads, even in parks and areas outside of roads. It started off just being a license plate recognition. And to your point, like you mentioned, Amber Alerts. Absolutely. They are using it to catch murderers, people who are fleeing violent crimes, or even smaller hit and runs. They're a very, very good technology when used properly. The challenge we're seeing a lot, and the reason it's in the news these days, is because the abuse, right? Just because an officer has access to this powerful tool for tracking what cars are going where, without any kind of oversight and auditing, there's a high chance that the temptation will get some of the officers and they'll use it for tracking romantic partners or other use cases. And that's what we see the legislation in Pennsylvania being introduced to Philadelphia, excuse me, to try to help combat some of that misuse.
Harry, I mean, let's dig in deeper into the misuse. You bring up it might be an officer who may be misusing it, but is it hard to hack a flock camera? Like, is that a thing?
If it's secured properly, I mean, they're pretty secure. The problem is they're not always secured properly. A lot of officers who use the flock system will share it with other precincts. That's a pretty common thing where one county will call another county that has a flock subscription and they'll say, hey, can we get access to that camera or try and track down a person or get access to your system to look for a plate? And depending on how they share it, it can actually be open. And there's examples online where security researchers have found completely unprotected, unsecured websites with no password at all, where you can pull up a real-time view of these cameras. And again, they're not always just looking at the license plates. They recently made an update where now they're doing full video tracking and even facial recognition in some cases.
Oh, wow. I mean, okay, so that just goes into surveillance. A lot of people are concerned as it comes to, how is my image being used, being seen? I think we've talked before about even the meta glasses, so more and more people just being concerned about being monitored in everyday life, and flock cameras don't necessarily help with that kind of anxiety about the situation, I understand.
Exactly. And the recent legislation that was introduced is promising. They're saying it's going to drop when the House reopens in September. So it's a teaser. It's a bipartisan tease right now, but we have not seen the actual text. But this law that's proposed is going to set a couple of things in motion. Again, if it makes it to the final text, one of which is whenever an officer does a search for a license plate, they have to disclose the reason for the search. If they're tying it to an open investigation or a case, they have to disclose that. It also has the ability where if a camera is used for personal reasons, tracking a romantic partner, things like that, where it's being abused, it opens up the ability for a citizen to actually file a lawsuit. And right now, that's very difficult, if not impossible. So by creating some liability, hopefully it's going to make the officers use it more respectfully. And I think the vast majority probably do use it properly. But I mean, just here in Atlanta, where I'm from, there was a case last week where 4 officers got arrested for abusing their access to Flock and using it for personal reasons. So it does happen.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, hopefully we don't see anything like that in our area, but if we do, we'll keep our eyes on it and report that to you guys. The last question I have with the Flock cameras, I understand it's very much so a visual medium where, again, you're looking at people's faces or you're looking at the readers, the license plates. Does it also grab audio or is it just visual?
So it's just visual now, but it's not only what you can see. They have an attachment they've started putting on some cameras where it's not just the license plate or the picture of your car, but they track identifying features like your bumper stickers or any kind of damage. So they know your car beyond just the plate. But this recent technology does a scan of any technology inside of your car, like a low energy Bluetooth on your phone. And they'll map out all the devices in your car, essentially creating a fingerprint as you drive by this stick and camera on the side of the road, where it's almost like an X-ray of your car tracking all the digital pieces. So they can understand who's in the car with you. If you have passengers, if you don't, they can see if there's a couple cars that are similar, they can separate them using this fingerprint to identify last week going these places. And the tracking is another big privacy, violation, right? I personally believe everybody has a right to privacy, but it's not just about finding a car. If you go a step deeper, it's about where the cars go on a timeline. So if an officer sees your vehicle and says, I want to look into that car, it's not just, okay, where are they right now? It's what church do you go to? What rallies are you attending? Are you going to clinics for personal reasons? What doctor's offices? It's where you shop. It's even in more innocuous things, but it's really painting your entire life, which driveways you sit in for which friends you're visiting. They're not just seeing where is your car in a moment in time, but they have historical data of everything about you previously. And a recent add-on Flock started doing, I believe it's called Flock Atlas, is connecting the car data, like the license plates, to data brokers where they can then pull in information on you as a person from the plate alone. Things like your demographics, your age, your gender, your hobbies, your interests, your property value, all kinds of, even a modeled credit score, all kinds of information that's really quite violating.
You see the look on my face. As you were naming each thing that they can really break down, I was just like, where does it end? It's kind of scary. Because at first, as you're explaining some of the things you can do, I can see how, again, it would be helpful in an investigation to try to find a perpetrator, a criminal. But then I'm also thinking about just regular, everyday, run-of-the-mill people. If you can see all the different devices, including a phone that they may have in their car, if you can know very personal information down to where I go to church or how much money I make, what I'm interested in, what my hobbies are, just by looking at my car, it's just like, where does technology end? So I guess the last question I have for you, and it may be a silly one, but you tell me, sometimes there are these AI stories, cybersecurity stories, personal information stories that I bring to you, and there seems to be a way to opt out. Flock cameras, is that a way for private citizens to opt out, or are you just kind of at the whim of what lawmakers put forward and what law enforcement actually enforces?
Sort of. So you can't opt out of your license plate within the Flock ecosystem unless you're part of a private HOA, or there's a couple exemptions that are very, very narrow. The vast majority, especially on public roads, you cannot opt out. What you can opt out of is the data broker piece. When you're talking about your face, all the things they connect to, that is from the data broker world. It's the Axioms and Epsilons and 1,000 companies out there that buy and sell the data of an individual every single day, and they sell it to Flock, which then turns around and relays it to anybody using the Flock system. You can opt out of data brokers, and that's what we do at Privacy Bee, is we help people clean up the digital footprint and delete themselves from that part. So they might know your license plate number, but they won't know who you are inside of the car outside of a warrant or some active investigation. That'll help.
Goodness gracious. The world is an interesting place as technology continues to grow. But again, I love picking your brain, Harry. This is always really exciting for me. I love getting to talk about technology and geek out about stuff with you. So I, again, appreciate you, as always, weighing in on any topic here on Fox 29 Philadelphia. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, see you later, Harry. Oh, you guys, I saw a couple of you commenting on what's going on here. Quite a few of you guys were just like me, like, what in the world? What else can they do? Someone said, can we just delete the flat cameras instead? Like I said, sometimes I see how it may help, but this is a lot. This is a lot. You guys, we try to share information like this, show you what's going on, again, with our lawmakers and with technology like this, so you can make your own decisions about whether something is good or bad. But this is just one of those things that tickled my brain when I saw it. And one more time, I just want to go over the legislation just in case some of you guys missed out on it. In Pennsylvania, some of our lawmakers have put this forward. They're hoping to establish a statewide accountability framework for the use of flock and those license plate reader systems that we were talking about, again, here in Pennsylvania. They want for individuals who already have authorized access, maybe officers who are using these license plate readers, to either tell the reason why they have chosen to look up someone's license plate. They want you to document that. They'll have audit trails if this passes. They also want data retention standards, so seeing how long your data will be kept in a system somewhere. You guys are taking a live look out on our roadways. Look at all those vehicles, people who are trying to make it home, and just imagine how many of those people don't know that their data might be being run through a system right now as they speak, and all they're doing is listening to the radio on their way home. Crazy stuff. Well, as the sun has set, it's nearing the time for the Perseid meteor showers to hit our area. I know a lot of people are excited to try to see that tonight. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I want to bring in an expert to talk to us about what we can expect tonight, especially if you in your area have a clear viewing window of what's going on. We'll check base with him and let me know too where you guys are watching from. We'll let you know if you'll be able to see it in your area. Got more on that when we come back. Welcome to Philadelphia Live. You guys, tonight is the night you are going to want to take a look up in the skies. We are keeping our eyes peeled, hoping pretty soon we'll be able to see some meteor showers in our area. A lot of people all across the world are excited, hoping that they catch a glimpse of it too. So I wanted to bring in somebody, a chief astronomer, who may be able to help us get excited for what's going on tonight. Derek Pitts from the Franklin Institute is live with us right now. Derek, welcome on into Philadelphia Live.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
I'm really happy to have you. So, I mean, when I heard, I actually had to figure out how to say the word in the first place. Perseid meteors. Well, we were going to have a meteor shower tonight into tomorrow. Absolutely excited. A lot of people are wondering what's the best time to go out and see it. Is it too late?
Oh no, it's not too late. You can start seeing Perseid meteors as soon as the sky gets dark. And as the evening goes on, you'll see more and more of these until sunrise tomorrow morning. So if you have time to do it this evening before you go to bed, that's great. If you can stay up later, that's a little bit better. And if you get up really early in the morning before sunrise, you'll still be able to see a few of these.
Again, this is so exciting. You guys, if you have kids, get on outside before it's bedtime for them. I mean, it's already 9 o'clock. It might be that time that they need to get in the bed already. But if not, yeah, this would be the time to go out and see if you can see something. So I've heard this being regarded as the best meteor shower of the year. Why is that?
The reason why it's considered to be one of the best meteor showers of the year is because of the number that are seen. It works like this, Judea. On any clear night you go out, you can see as many as 10 meteors per hour on any night. When we talk about a shower, the number is elevated. And in the case of Perseids, it could be up to 100 per hour. The best meteor shower comes in December with a few more, but it's cold then. Now it's warm. You can be outside. You can be outside with a group of friends looking up at a beautiful dark evening sky, and you can see some meteors while it's still warm. So that's why this is considered to be the best shower of the year.
So we see photographers and some videos like what we just showed on our screen there, where it looks incredible. You see a bunch of things flying across your sky at the same time, but to our naked eye, what will we actually see? Does it kind of look more like a shooting star one at a time, or will we see a bunch of things shooting through the sky like all together?
And that's a really great question. And it's a really important question because it has to deal with what people's expectations are. When we look at the videos and we look at the really pretty photographs, our expectations are really, really raised very high. And in fact, the reality is you might see one of these shooting stars, as they're called, or falling stars. You might see one every 30 seconds or so. You may see 2 or 3 or 4 in a minute as the evening goes on. And that rate is a fairly high rate of 100 per hour or so. So that's better than the typical background rate. But the thing is, some of these have very long trails. So you might be able to watch it for a second and a half or 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Sounds like a short period, but it's actually a longer period to see something like this. Some of them can be quite bright. And that also makes it exciting. You might see what's called a fireball, which is a very bright one that falls far down in the Earth's atmosphere. So you're looking for all of these things as you're enjoying the evening outside, looking up at the sky. And you do it with a group of friends so you can look all around the sky because the meteors appear all over the sky.
Again, this is so exciting. How rare or common is the phenomenon? Like, how often do we see this happen?
Yeah, this is the really cool thing about this. The Earth passes through a patch of dust and dirt left over from a periodic comet every year on the same date. So August the 12th, that's when the Perseid meteor shower reaches its peak. So every year, every August 12th, approximately, that's when the peak is. It's never more than 12 hours either side of the night of August the 12th. And that's the peak. The shower really starts in late July and runs until late August, but the greatest number of meteors will be seen tonight.
Okay, so this is the time again, guys. Get on out there and try to see if you can see something. Derek, while I've got you, earlier today we saw a solar eclipse, and I know you had to have some special glasses or some type of gear to see it. Is that the case for tonight's meteor showers, or will you again be able to just see it with your naked eye?
Oh no, this is a very cool thing. You don't need binoculars, no telescope. That won't help. You don't need any special glasses or anything. Well, you do need a special glass. You need a special glass of either red or white wine. And that's going to be the perfect thing you need to help you see these meteors tonight. So That and a group of friends and a radio, and you're all set.
Add some popcorn to that list and you got me. I will definitely be looking up as I leave work tonight. Well, I loved having you on here with me. This is so much fun, just trying to get everybody excited for what's still to come. We already got somebody in Ellie in Northeast Pennsylvania says definitely doing it. So appreciate you.
Great, great. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Now, from what's going on in the skies, like all the way now in outer space, I want to touch base a little closer home to us here on Earth and touch base with our storm team just to see if anything has changed in our forecast. So we're going to touch base with Scott Williams. We saw him earlier in the 7 o'clock hour. Now we've got him again in the 9:20. Scott, how are we feeling about the forecast?
You know, we still have that isolated thunderstorm chance overnight. We could have some debris in the atmosphere with some of those clouds. So we're still monitoring the forecast, but gotta love Derek Pitts and his expertise talking about the meteor showers for tonight. Let's talk about the temperatures today because it was another hot day. We maxed out at 90 degrees. We took one day away from high temperatures around 90 degrees. That was yesterday with a high of 88 degrees. We ended the heat wave officially yesterday, but today we're back up to 90 degrees. The normal high now is 86 degrees. 89 was the high in Wilmington, 86 for Reading. So take a look at the last 7 days. You can see we had that stretch of 90 degree or better days last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday with our 6th heat wave of the year. Yesterday's high temperature was 88 degrees, and then we were back up to 90 today. You guys have been talking about the partial solar eclipse. Here's a beautiful snapshot taken from one of our interns, Andrew, from Middlesex County in New Jersey, and it looks kind of like a little bite out of the sun. We saw about a 7% obscurity of that partial solar eclipse later on, or earlier, I should say, this afternoon. That's when you needed those special glasses that you and Derek were talking about. Now tonight, the Perseid meteor shower, you can start viewing it now through about dawn. So as we progress throughout the latter part of the evening, things get a little better, as Derek was talking about, and this is one of the better meteor showers of the year. But you want to get away from those city lights, from those bright lights. The darker of the area, the better chances of you seeing more of those meteors. Ultimate Doppler, fairly quiet. We are still watching showers mainly north and west of the area, and you can see some of those showers and thunderstorms. We'll kind of zoom in north and east of the Harrisburg vicinity, moving to around Porter. There's also been a quick little downpour that moved through the Allentown area over the past 30 minutes or so. Scaling back on the severe weather potential for tonight, scale of 1 to 5, it's a 1, and most of the area now is extending into the Poconos north of Interstate 80 into more so North Jersey. So that is certainly some good news. So as we go hour by hour, if you're stepping outdoors, still keeping an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm in the forecast, and you can see that illustrated for the end of the evening into the overnight time frame. Temperatures for 11 o'clock, 77 degrees, 75 by 1 a.m. So once again, there could be some cloud cover that obscures some of those meteors. So as we go hour by hour, you can see overnight tonight, pre-dawn hours, looking at a hit or miss shower or thunderstorm. Most of us will stay dry. It stays muggy for the overnight as well. In terms of the forecast for the Field of Dreams game there in for the latter part of the morning into the early afternoon time frame there, and it looks like there still could be a leftover shower toward tomorrow night. So we're going to be monitoring that forecast. It looks like because of the clouds and showers, we're looking at temperatures by first pitch that will be hovering in the low 70s. Hopefully that rain can get out of there the first half of the day and we start to dry things out as we approach the evening time frame and first pitch. So they'll definitely have the tarp out on the field. Here at home, temperatures mid to upper 80s for most areas, back to around 90 degrees for Philadelphia. So pretty much a carbon copy of what we saw today. It's going to be hot again, and it's also going to stay humid. And look at those temperatures down the shore getting into the 80s with more of a land breeze, and those greenheads will be biting as well. Now, we'll fast forward to Sunday into Monday. Another disturbance is going to be moving through. That could give us some showers for the second half of the weekend. Earlier in the week, it looked like it was going to be dry and quiet for Saturday as well as for Sunday. Right now, Saturday looks to be the better of the 2 weekend days. Because of this front that's going to be moving through, we'll see an increase in the cloud cover. Shower chances start to increase on Sunday, and some of those showers could linger into Monday. But right now, it does look like Sunday is going to feature some wet weather. Don't cancel any plans because things could change, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a washout, but it is going to be cooler and cloudier on Sunday. So just kind of keep that in mind. As we look at the overall 7-day forecast, here's what we're getting. 90 degrees Thursday, similar to today. It stays humid. 88 degrees on Friday, partly sunny skies. Saturday, lower humidity, a dry heat. 87 degrees will be the high temperature. And then you can see Sunday, those showers are a likelihood. More clouds, cooler temperatures though, only in the low 80s. Then we're back into the upper 80s for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. And that extends even beyond that as we look at the 10-day temperature trend. We could be back to 90 degrees by next Thursday. And then next weekend, those temperatures are still a couple of degrees above average in the upper 80s. And once again, average now is around 86 degrees. So we're going to be watching for that possible rain on Sunday, and we're also going to be watching for the Perseid meteor showers for tonight. So fingers crossed that we have some peaks in the cloud cover out there so that you can see your meteor shower. You're getting excited. You're getting very excited. We missed out. We both missed out on the partial solar eclipse that we saw across the area. So, you know, hey, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, like you said, might be too bright. I mean, I'm trying to see something. I want to see something before I leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to 50 to 100 per hour, but it really depends on the sky conditions. It depends on the lighting, as we talked about. So the darker it is, you know, the better chances you have of seeing more of those meteors. So, you know, take a drive out to the country.
Yes, I'll add that to my list before I go to bed tonight. Thank you so much for sharing with us what's going on in the forecast. Also letting people know when to go out and see the showers. They'll also share more information about what exactly you would be seeing out there. Yes, I'm excited. I feel like a little kid when it comes to stuff like this. Science always gets me, so love your job. Again, thanks for our forecast tonight, Scott. All right, you guys, now do need to do a quick tone policing right here because we do have eyes on a very much so developing situation. This happening across the country. So you're seeing all of these flashing blue and red lights. That's because there's a barricaded suspect out in Glendale, Arizona. You're seeing law enforcement seemingly returning to their vehicles, but we don't have any information just yet that the barricaded suspect has come out or been captured of some sort. What I can tell you about this situation, they say this suspect opened fire at police. Some of those bullets, projectiles, hitting police vehicles. As you can see, a lot of people rushed out to the area. Neighbors in the area have been told to shelter in place. This seems to be a very much so ongoing scene. Glendale police say it's very active. The suspect is still barricaded at this time. They say this person discharged their weapon at officers. Again, multiple police vehicles were struck by the projectiles, the bullets. Neighbors in the area again have been notified to shelter in place. We've got this live video coming from our sister station, Fox 10 Phoenix, trying to share as much information as they can. SWAT team, they've also gotten on scene. You see one of their trucks right there, and you can also see it looks like emergency vehicles, again, pulling away. They say those SWAT officers reportedly rammed the back of the home trying to gain access. So far, though, we don't have the identity of the suspect besides the fact that they seem to be a man. There's no clear indication of why this person was wanted in the first place, why they barricaded themselves in the home, what led up to this person opening fire, the shooting. Police also have not said whether anybody has been injured, but again, they did say that they shot at police. Now, you can see from this camera angle, if you look up on that home, it looks like maybe a window of some sort shattered. Again, we're still trying to learn exactly what took place here. Again, very much so still an active scene, a developing scene. As we get more information, we'll try to bring it on out to you live. That's happening in Arizona, but let's bring it back here to me in Philadelphia. We also are keeping our eyes on another peculiar investigation. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, this West Chew Avenue investigation that seems to have everyone scratching their heads, trying to figure out what in the world is going on. Murders. This is a big story. It has a lot of moving parts. We'll get the full press conference on what happened when we come back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. This investigation started out as a traffic stop that turned into seizure of drugs, of a gun, of fake IDs. Then it turned into a complete investigation into a home, digging up the front yard, and then it possibly has turned into a murder investigation. There are so many layers of this West Chew Avenue investigation that we're still learning about even today. There was a new press conference where Philadelphia police are revealing more information about 44-year-old Eugene Horsch and what they believe he may have done. I want to let you guys take a listen in. This is the full press conference from earlier today.
Inspector Ray Evers, I'm the commanding officer of the Detective Bureau. With me today is Ayanna Green Davis. She's from the Office of Community Advocacy and Engagement, to my left. And to my right is Chief Inspector Charles Layton. He's the commanding officer of the Detective Bureau. What we're going to do is give a recap on the 417 Chew Avenue investigation. But prior to starting the recap, I'm going to mention a couple things. One is going to be transparency. We will be transparent in this investigation. It's very complex and protracted. There will be times when we could say we just don't know because we just don't know at that time. But we're going to strive to get the answers and justice for victims. Sensitivity, asking everyone to be sensitive to the issues here around these victims. Respect. The Philadelphia Police Department is going to respect the victims and their families. I'm going to start out with a short recap of the investigation, and it kind of started on June 19th, 8 a.m. at 6th and Market Streets. United States Park police officer conducted a car stop pedestrian investigation at that location. The vehicle was a BMW. In the vehicle were two passengers, a passenger and a driver. The driver was a Eugene Horsch. He's a 44-year-old male from 417 Chew Avenue. The passenger is a white female, provided fake ID in the name of Blair Tunzelli. During the course of this investigation, the street investigation, 2 illegal handguns were recovered from that vehicle, around $8,000 of illegal drugs, which were crack cocaine, heroin, and marijuana, and a DEA badge with credentials. Eugene Horsch's picture was on that ID. During the debriefing process, the name Blair Tunzelli came up again, and we learned through that debriefing process that we may never see her again. Later on that day, and this is Friday into Saturday, the 19th and the 20th, the DEA and officers from the Philadelphia Police Department assigned to the Federal Task Force served a search warrant at 417 Chew Avenue. Recovered another illegal gun, gun parts, a marijuana grow operation with a street value of over $280,000. Another badge, this time it was an FBI badge with credentials, again with Eugene Horsch's picture on it. Also in the house were 5 urns containing what we believe is the cremated remains. The DEA contacted Tom Walsh. He's the lieutenant in homicide. Homicide opens an investigation on 417 Chew Avenue and the disappearance of Blair Tunzelli. Over the next several days, the homicide unit and special victims, and this is part of the long-term missing person group, conducted several interviews, followed up on the IDs found in 417 Chew Street, and re-interviewed the friends of Blair Tunzelli. On Friday, June 25th, another search warrant was served at 417 Chew Avenue. At this time, it was led by the homicide unit, crime scene, ATF, and a bomb disposal unit. Found at this time, during this search warrant, what appeared to be some type of lab or home lab in the basement, various containers containing an unknown oily substance, and over 50 pieces of electronic devices, and this is hard drives, computers, thumb drives, things of that nature. Mike Garvey, who is the director of forensic science, led the investigation during the processing of the crime scene, and he determined the magnitude of the collection process that we have to go through our crime scene unit and the unknown chemicals. We would need assistance. Sunday, June 27th, a call was made through the commissioner to the FBI, and we got the assistance of the FBI evidence recovery team. They came up from Quantico, Virginia, to assist in processing this scene. We processed that home lab and the components, the containers of that unknown substance, and all that digital evidence. Tuesday, June 29th, Deputy Commissioner Venori's head of investigations put together an investigative team to investigate what's going on in 417 Chew Avenue. That's included homicide, our special victims long-term missing persons group, our Delaware Valley Intelligence Center, representatives from the District Attorney's Office, and our partners in the FBI and other law enforcement partners. These are some of the investigative findings. We have served over 95 search warrants to date on the house and its contents. The FBI has been a tremendous asset in this investigation and helped us with collecting the evidence and processing the evidence. July 9th, FBI certified K-9 team from the Jersey State Police searched the house and the premises around the house. July 22nd, I know many of you were out there at the location of 417 Chew Avenue. That's when we served the search warrant again on that property to remove the sewer line, the lateral, and the trap. And we wanted to examine the contents in that sewer line. July 27th, the 20-plus containers with the unknown substance was delivered to a special lab in Chicago for testing and analysis. The beginning of August, the digital evidence that we served search warrants on started coming in. We utilized the RCFL, and that's the Regional Computer Forensic Lab. The amount of information and digital evidence that we got was astonishing. The investigators in that investigative group, we have to look over 600,000 images, 70,000 videos, and over 10,000 pages of writings, manuscripts, and drawings. We have to review and organize those. Why do I say this? This investigation will take time. There's a lot of evidence to go through. While searching the first hard drive, homicides detectives found the images and video of what appeared to be 2 deceased females. Those females have been identified. We know who they are. This is new territory for the homicide unit in Philadelphia. Usually when we have a homicide investigation, we have a body, we have body parts. This time we do not. This has turned into a death investigation. Again, will be protracted. This is taking all the energy of some really, really senior detectives in homicide to solve exactly what's going on here. We consulted with the medical examiner's office. We met with them several times. And in summary, they stated the following. This is from the medical examiner. Based on the video and photo evidence, if the images in the video are real and not altered in any way, then based on their review, the ME would believe the individuals depicted in the images are deceased. However, without having an actual body or body parts to physically examine, the ME cannot conclusively declare them deceased. Therefore, the ME cannot provide a death certificate or determine the cause of death. The only entity that will be able to declare the individuals deceased without a body will be the Philadelphia Orphans Court. After meeting with the medical examiner, we met with the command staff, the investigative team, and the executive team. A determination was made that we had a duty and obligation to notify the families of the 2 females. 10 a.m. this morning, homicide detectives, Director Green, and the ME's office made the first notification. That first female is Maribel Freshess, Fressess. She's 27. She was born in 1990. Last seen February 2018. About 2 hours later, we made the second notification. That female is named Gabriela Amarando, Amarando, born in 1990. She's been missing since September 2012. As I said, this is going to be a very complex, long investigation. Our goal is to bring justice to the families. There will be an increased police activity at 417 Chew Avenue. Our work is not done there. From Commissioner Bethel, we need your help. I'm going to give you 2 numbers. One is our tip line, 215-686-TIPS. And if you want to speak personally to a homicide investigator working on this case, 215-686-3334. Going to open it up to questions. But again, we have a lot of information, a lot of digital information that we still have to go through. That first hard drive is maybe 5 to 7% of what we have to look at. There's a lot to look at. There's a protracted investigation, but we have the best investigators working on this case right now. I'll open it up.
So those videos, you say they depict those two women, and you believe they're deceased. Is Eugene Borsch in those videos as well? Were they murdered on these videos?
We believe the videos are from inside 417 Chew Avenue. We don't see how those persons became to us appeared to be deceased.
So they appear they were already deceased when the video was taken?
No, we saw them alive prior in video. That we don't see. Graphic and dark. It's something this lab handles. I might have to get back to you on that, Kristen.
Do you believe these videos were supposed to be disseminated somehow? Was he letting other people view these? Was he shooting these to show people?
It's a fair question. We just don't know at this time. And we just, 5 to 7% of that digital evidence we saw, we have hundreds of thousands of images and videos to look at.
I think also when people hear this, they're going to be so hopeful because you just said that there's you say 5 to 7%, which is more than 90% that's out there. And so there's so many families of missing women and girls that we've all covered who are going, I'm saying women and girls, probably men and boys, but who are going to be hopeful that maybe their loved one is on there, maybe bombarded by phone calls. Is there any certain message that these departments to send to those families who are just like hearing this and going, oh my God, maybe we're going to find some answers?
I think closure is important in some of the families. From the small portion of videos that we saw, we know some people are alive and they've been interviewed. Some people are still missing.
Did the families of these two victims, did they know Mr. Horsch?
No. One of the reasons we're going back to 417 Chew is after the evidence that we saw, there's areas of that house that we want to re-examine. And that's why we're back at the house today. There's a marked car there. There's been an unmarked car there for several days because we knew this was pending. We know while looking at the videos, there may be certain aspects of the house that seem very benign to us, but now it's a critical piece of evidence. So we will be back there.
Inspector, do you have any idea when the videos that you've seen so far, when they were from?
No, we're not going to discuss that right now.
To this point, that you haven't found any sort of human remains in the search that you're digging?
No.
Is there any belief that Eugene Horsch has nothing to do with this and that his father is deceased is involved?
Eugene lived there for a long time. His dad lived there for a long time. His dad died in, I believe, May of 25. They lived there. They lived in that house. Not at this time, no.
What the testing of the chemicals, any idea what that is?
That's still being analyzed right now.
Is there fear of what that is?
I'm sorry?
I know you can't speculate, but is there fear that that could be some dissolving agent or something like that?
We could speculate. We don't have the answers. And again, there'll probably be more press conferences like this to describe more. But the main thing is, end of our meeting with the commissioner, is we want to get information out. We want people that were inside that house to call us. We want people that engaged in any way with Eugene or Raymond Charles to contact us, because we want to put this timeline together. We want to see all their interactions. This is, as Lieutenant Walsh said, one or two largest investigations that homicide's going to handle. The FBI team that was out there is just their top 5 crime scene that they handled. So this is very, very large. We have to be very delicate on how we handle things and do it in such a way that we're doing it right. And that's the investigators, you know. Oh, they're not. I mean, Lieutenant Walsh. Yeah. Okay. As the lieutenant said, it is a death investigation. We have the best detectives in the city working on this job right now, and you probably know most of them. We're going to ensure that this investigation is run right. Well, I'm not going to get into exactly what I saw. It's dark. It's real dark. But what we saw is these 2 girls alive. There's a period of time, and what appears to us that they're deceased. There's pieces of the video that we don't have yet, but again, we have 93% of more stuff to look at.
And I mean, you guys, just to hear that percentage, so realistically, he's saying anywhere between 5 to 7% is what they've already combed through. They've got hundreds of thousands of more images, tens of thousands of more videos, and plenty of documents that they still need to comb through. This is going to be a massive investigation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Now, 2 of our reporters here at Fox 29 are trying to help you guys make sense of what's going on here. So from Shawnette Wilson, you'll kind of get the nuts and bolts of this case. How did we get here? What exactly is at stake here? What are they looking into? That's what you'll get from Shawnette Wilson in the 10 o'clock hour of the news. So stick with us here on the Free Fox Local for that. And then we've also got another report from Jennifer Joyce. She's also diving deeper into this, the forensics portion of this investigation. As you guys can see, we've got old video from Skyfox flying over this home at 417 Chew Avenue. Again, we're hearing that they have found videos showing these 2 women who were reported missing years ago. They've been recirculated. Now they believe that the women that they see in these videos that have just been found are those missing women. Unfortunately, they say they've also got videos that seem to show these missing women now dead. Now they have to connect the dots, look through more of the videos, more of the pictures that they've already described as dark and disturbing, to try to figure out what happened here and how 44-year-old Eugene Horsch may be involved in all of it. Again, this is going to be a much bigger investigation, and we're trying our hardest here at Fox 29 Philadelphia to make sure that you understand what you need to know. We're going to take a quick commercial break, you guys. When we come back, I just want to run through some of the stories that are coming up for you, what we're reporting on tonight, and what you can expect coming up ahead on the news at 10. We'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Just in case you missed that story that we were just talking about, I want to remind you all that in the news at 10 o'clock, we are going to get a live report from two of our reporters, both Shawnette Wilson and Jennifer Joyce, covering different angles of this larger investigation on West Chew Avenue. We knew it started out as a traffic stop that has sorry, you guys, losing my train of thought here. This investigation that has now developed into finding guns, gun parts, drugs, fake IDs belonging to law enforcement, and now they're saying that they have found images believed to be two missing women, in some videos alive and in some videos dead. Now, again, our two reporters are going to try to put the pieces together to try to help you guys figure out what's going on at West Chew Avenue. This is going to be something that definitely will continue to keep up with over the next couple of weeks. This may even take months, maybe even years to crack the case. So that's coming up in the news at 10. Also, on a lighter note, we're also keeping our eyes on the skies. The Perseid meteor showers happening later on tonight. And, you know, if you're feeling lucky from all the celestial shows that we've gotten lately, you know, hopefully we'll get to see some of those shooting stars, some call it, through the skies. If you've been feeling lucky because we've gotten the partial solar eclipse, the Perseid meteor showers today, maybe it's time to buy yourself a ticket. Are you feeling like a billionaire? Because the Powerball has already risen up to $1 billion. So many people are in it to win it. Could your number be picked tonight? I should say your series of numbers. 11 o'clock is the time where we're expecting those numbers to be drawn. A lot of people are just wondering, could they win? So that's going to be a live report on how people are picking their numbers, how lucky they're feeling with Dawn Timoney. Again, that's going to be coming for you guys also in the 10 o'clock news. In the meantime, I'm Judea Murray. It's been my pleasure to bring you guys all of this news here on Philadelphia Live on the free Fox Local app. I want you to stick around with us here for the 10 o'clock news. It's starting very, very soon. Again, if you guys have never been here with me before, I just want to remind you, just in case, you know, you're just now coming in, you've never seen me before, we talk about breaking news here. We bring you live events. We do plenty of interviews, getting you caught up on some of the biggest news of the day. Again, my name is Judea Murray. Go ahead and find me on social media, Judea Murray on all social media platforms. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for everything you need to know. You guys, this is Philadelphia Live. Don't go anywhere.